Yeah, Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So we back at it, man. Back at it. So basically, man, it's New Year's Eve. It's the end of my fast. I got hours left. You know what I'm saying? On my grown man thing, man. Ain't playing no boy games. Ain't playing no girl games with no boys and girls. Um, on my grown man thing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you maintain that, man, because especially if you black, they treat you like boys. They play games that you would play with a boy. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get that proper perspective. I got a child in the world. I don't play games with people. You know what I'm saying? You have to remind yourself of your manhood or your womanhood, you know, because here in this country, they're used to making everybody submit, you know what I'm saying? That's why everybody else is submitted. Everybody that's against you is submitted. That's how you gotta look at it. Everybody that's against you is submitted. And you're a grown man. That's what makes you grown, is you're not submitted. If they ever doubt your manhood, because it's only based on if you're working. If you're working, they say you're a man. I can show you plenty of boys working. I can show you plenty of boys working. Working is 25% of being a man. You got the other 75%. If you lack on that, you're just a boy that's working now, ain't you? Let me tell you something, man. Half of these people are boys and girls that's submitted to this country. That's all it is. And now you know you got your manhood, whether you got money, whether you got a job today, because that ain't all it consists of. And if you just lose a job, don't mean you lose your manhood as soon as you lose the job. So it's a lot of things that consist of being a man or a woman, not just working. This country, they'll tell you it's working because it's kind of a Jedi mind trick for the slave plantation to kind of make you feel like you ain't a man if you ain't on the plantation. So, you know, we're grown men and grown women today. That's how we conduct ourselves. We don't conduct ourselves like we're teenagers or in our 20s, not even in our 20s. You know, I'm not saying people that's not in their 20s are not grown per se, but we've lived way beyond our 20s now, haven't we? So, you know, for people that's retarded, stuck on stupid, you know, won't entertain that. Grown man over here. With witchcraft people and these secret society people, what you'll notice that they have in common, they're all boy-like and girl-like. You ever seen any masculine Freemasons? You seen any masculine secret society people with hair on their face? Not really, not really. They all go for the boy-like look, don't they? They go for the girl-like look, don't they? Look, man, it's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. And I just sent another offering to Colombia in South America in the Medellin community. So what I like to do, and this is what I recommend to you too, is when you're fasting, if you can, get an offering in your hand and give an offering while you're fasting. And remember, no matter, this is what our enemies sleep on, it's always got to be a sacrifice, the offering, which means it's got to cost you something. And anytime you give your all, it could be pennies, it could be a couple dollars, God is going to bless you. God is going to do something beyond that amount of money. So, you know, I just gave all my Christmas money that I had to down there to South America. I say humbly, I put all of it down there to South America in Colombia. So being that it was all my Christmas money and it's all of it and it's a sacrifice, it's still gonna be potent. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind, I'm about to send $1 million to South America. I'm about to send $1 million in the next, less shy for 2 weeks. I'm about to send a whole million down there. I sent the offering yesterday, and I still got an offering for tomorrow, so to speak. Still got an offering for tomorrow, so I'm about to send $1 million down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to send $1 million. So that's gonna change this whole energy. But see, I needed an offering down there for the next 2 weeks before to make this offering happen, really. Because this is huge. I'm about to send a whole $1 million down there. That's gonna change everything. I already got half of it. So I'm just waiting for less than $100 to add to it, and it's gonna be enough money for them for based on the value exchange for it to be $1 million down there in Colombia. But I already sent the transaction to Colombia yesterday, so I'm just glad to be back relevant as far as transactions with all the stuff that's going on in the Caribbean with the boats and the boats being blown up. I'm just glad to be relevant with assisting Colombians down there with all this stuff that the Americans are doing to the Caribbean community. I'm glad to be relevant down there, you know, on their side. I'm glad to be relevant on their side. So, but I mean, I already done gave like $500,000 down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just I'm just on my game, like, cause I gave like $500,000 like August or September. Yeah, I think it might have been late August, but definitely in the past 3 or 4 months, I've already given $500,000. So I mean, I could afford a little break from giving right now, so that's why I'm not really worried about the last offering I gave. It was enough to still get something done, definitely, and it was a sacrifice, and it was all my Christmas money. So God is going to consider that. See, God's going to consider the fullness of the sacrifice. That's the beautiful thing. That's why the offering is different from money. It's not just money. God is going to look at all the details. Hallelujah. He's going to look at all the details of the sacrifice, of the offering. All the details. He's going to consider all the details. If you just gave $1 and you got $1 billion and you just gave $1 to ministry, God's going to consider that. If you gave $250 million and you got a couple $1 billion and you gave $250 million to ministry, God is going to consider that. He's going to consider the details. You know, and like I've been saying lately, you know, it's all about going to the next realm as far as giving. So if you've been given hundreds of dollars, most Christians have been given hundreds. You know what I'm saying? Save up and give 1,000. Save up and give a whole 1,000 at one time, $1,000 transaction. I've done that. I've done that at 25 years old. I gave a $1,000 transaction at 25. For ministry, that's a big deal, because you'll find many Americans they ain't never gave $1,000 to no church. So it may seem like a number that's not that big, but for giving in America is big as far as the average American. They ain't gonna give no $1,000 to no church. They not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up to, like, right now, every time I give money, I count it, so I'm like up to like $7,000. You know what I'm saying? I done gave over $7,000 consistently. In the past couple of years, I've been watching how much I've been giving. I've been giving like 7,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost 8,000. But I want to get up to like 10,000. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'll feel good to do some other things after that. But I want to get it like up to 10,000. Mind you, the value exchange on the money is going to be more in other countries. So when I get to Colombia, this right here, that's going to be like $1 million down there. See, now I done found a lane. And for people that think they're on my side, man, listen, I don't know what crack you've been smoking. I don't know what crack you've been smoking. I didn't enlist anybody to be on my side now that I'm winning, because see, y'all the same people. If I had lost, you would have just stepped right over my body. If I fell off, you would have stepped right over my body. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't play any games. That's what I mean when I don't play any games. The goofy, corny stuff, where you think you're in my lane and you think you helping me and supporting me, man, come on, listen. If I would have lost, y'all would have stepped over my body. That include these ignorant black people. You would have stepped over my body. All these ignorant black people acting like they on my side. Listen, buddy, you would have stepped over my body if I had lost. Okay, so I know y'all sport fanatics, sport fans, and you think this is a sport event, but it's not, where you could pick a side and choose sides and change sides and switch sides. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't play, no pun intended, I don't play games. So I'm not on your side and you're not on mine. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. I go with God's people. I go with Christians that's serving the Lord, and that's that. That's all, and that's it, folks. Now, for these other secular Christians or these celebrity Christians that's out there in the limelight with everybody else, that's them. My Bible tells me, what communion does light have with darkness? How can two men walk together lest they agree? I can't walk together with people that do not agree by lifestyle. In your mind, you might agree, but by lifestyle, you do not agree with me. So imagine me walking around with you. Imagine me being affiliated with you. It's not going to happen. So for those who jocking me, the telepaths and psychics, they one of the main group of people that think they got some unlimited pass to me and unlimited pass to other people. We going to shut that down with destruction, because something in your mind make you think you deserve to be here and you don't. Something inside of you make you feel you deserve to see me and you don't. You're not on my level to see me. You don't deserve to be here. What make you deserve to be here? Can you explain it intelligently? Oh, because you can read minds, you got a little bit of witchcraft or whatever you got going. That don't mean nothing. You don't have purpose that serves the Lord. That's why you don't deserve. You see that part? Besides spirituality, your purpose or your lack of purpose to serve God in holiness, that forfeits you from being here. It wouldn't matter who you are spiritually. If you don't serve God, you can't be here. Now you see how it weeds out millions and millions of people. I'm sorry you thought I was a celebrity. That's not my fault. I didn't tell you I was a star. I didn't tell you I was a celebrity. You made up your own goofy game. That's why people almost think it's cliche. That's why I say I don't play games. Because you can see all the games that people play. With how they think, how they things they perceive, things they think they're doing and they're not doing. To me, all games, all a mindset of a person that plays games. That's why I keep reinforcing that I don't play games. That's why I'm blessed. That's why God is with me, because I don't play with people. I don't play games. I don't play with people out in public. I don't play with people anywhere I go. So that's why I'm blessed, waiting to give my offering. I'm just waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not gonna change. You know, for people that think they in my lane, all these secret society people, man, listen, bro. You listen. Let me explain something. Your country is almost dead, and you know it. Okay. Stop playing with people. Your country is almost dead. What you should be doing is going and enjoying your family while you can, because it ain't much time left. And you might think this is just another bump in the road. Not this time. It's not another bump in the road, buddy. We on the roll. We on the roll. We putting money down in South America, you know. I'm putting down money down. That's for the whole body of Christ. We a unit, you know what I'm saying? And so now that I done gave that money down to South America, watch what happened to our enemies. Watch what happened to them. Watch what happened to them. Watch what happened to our enemies, man. We don't have no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Because this is it. This is how people decide to go out. This is how we decide to end it. Everybody made a decision. So for people that didn't make a decision, and you think it's just gonna go on and you can just do what you want to do. No, we all, people on both sides, right, made a decision that this is the end. This is the end. Because we don't want to see this world go on with these lames. We proved that they nothing. Now imagine the world being in their hands. You know what I mean? Nah, we'd rather see it all go than that. See, that's how people feel. We'd rather see it all go than them people act like they rule and they tough and they bad. No, nah, man, no. We proved y'all ain't nothing, man. We proved y'all ain't nothing. You know, ain't no way in the world we gonna let you survive and act like you hard and act like you on top of the world because you got a little bit of witchcraft or divination. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to play with God's kingdom. It's not enough for what we do. And that's that. It's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Walking around, playing psychological games, reading people's mind, not enough. It's not enough, man. So, you know, what is enough, man, is when you're done. Because the systems is gone. Your country is gone. That's enough. And that's what's happening. And you know it, don't you? That's why you're desperate. That's why you're desperate. Every time we wake up, they sitting out waiting to play games. Like I'm on that. See, that will work on a person on lower psychology. I don't care about that. Because I know if you pass over that threshold, listen, that ain't something you want to do. And I don't care if you're a part of the staff. I don't care who you're part of. Somebody already came illegally into this door and they didn't even knock on this door where I'm living at. They opened the keys, opened the door without even knocking it, opened the door. That's illegal. I guess I'm too professional for them to play with me, man. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. You know, so you don't just act like you control the doors and control the access and that person has the right. Once I have the right to lock the door, you have to ask for access. That just makes common sense. You know, so for people that play with me and you think you're listening to me, listen, man, listen. You're not even in league with me. Stop playing yourself. We will never consider you rivals. We rival Satan. That's what we do. Satan is our enemy. And his demons, not you. That you're not a demon. You're a witch or a warlock or some mind reader. We fight Satan. We don't. You're not above Satan. You're not as high ranking as Satan. It's an attitude. You have an attitude. That's it. We fight Satan. We fight demonic spirits. We don't fight low ranking people like you. Like a matter of fact, I put a fast on Satan today. I fast against Satan. Now imagine me fasting against Satan. Imagine me fasting against Satan and acknowledging you. You a drop in the bucket, man. You a drop in the bucket. You a drop in the ocean, man. I mean, listen. I fast against Satan. And so an American Christian will say, that won't do nothing. Well, it has been. It's been doing something. I got multiple fastings against Satan, lifelong fastings where I abstain from certain food for the rest of my life. It's my type of fast. You got a Daniel fast. Christians acknowledge a Daniel fast, right? Okay, so a Daniel fast is not the conventional or the orthodox fast, is it? But you acknowledge it, don't you? Okay, so see, that's a spiritual invention that Daniel had in spirituality. So see, God gives us spiritual inventions. These new modern day Christians, because you're not on high levels of spirituality, you won't be open to spiritual inventions. You're gonna try to do everything like everybody else, and so you don't have an original story where God gives you spiritual inventions. He's given me a spiritual invention, glory to his name. That's 7 out. He gave me a spiritual invention of life, just like Daniel. Daniel had a Daniel fast, and we acknowledge that. Now, was it a water fast? What is considered a fast in the Bible before Daniel? No, but God gave him that spiritual invention for his situation. So for my situation, God gave me a spiritual invention, a type of fast that's different from the other fastings that you're used to. I do lifelong fastings. And the lifelong fasting is when you abstain from certain food forever. Certain meat, I'm fasting forever. Not just a vegan. I'm not a vegan. I'm abstaining from certain meat for a purpose against a particular group of people. And I recommend that you take advantage of this spiritual invention just like people take advantage of the Daniel fast. It wasn't technically a fast by technicality, but God gave him that spiritual invention. That's why I don't let people hold me back, because see, you didn't pass a level where you got an original story as a spiritual person. You don't have an original story. You follow guidelines of other people. You try to be like other people in the Bible. I don't try to be like other people in the Bible. I got my own original story. Make sense? Like my own book, so per se. And God gives me spiritual inventions. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of them, a lifelong fast, where I fast from certain food for the rest of my life. You don't think God gonna honor that? Come on. If you abstain from a certain food for the rest of your life, you telling me God gonna see something wrong with that? Or he's not? Well, explain it intelligently why he wouldn't accept that. You can't. I've had a Christian acknowledge that, like they was impressed by it. But I don't do it for that reason. But so they acknowledged it. They didn't think that it was invalid or it was in error. You know what I'm saying? So I've had a Christian acknowledge it a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So, because basically fasting is, in essence, is abstaining from food, right? That's what it is, right? That's what gets the job done, right? Okay, so you think God would not honor a fast where you abstain from a certain food for the rest of your life? He wouldn't honor that. Fasting is abstaining from food. You decide to do a fast where you abstain from food for the rest of your life. You decide to do that. You don't think God gonna honor that? Of course he would. It's the same principle of abstaining from food. You're just doing it for life. See what I mean? So it's how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm fasting, lifelong fastings against Satan. I just started one this morning. You know what I'm saying? Because it was something I needed to do. I meant to do it yesterday or a couple of days ago. But I already got like 3 or 4 or 5 fastings against Satan already. I've been fasting against Satan for 5 years. Hold on. Let's see here. 6 years, actually. I've been fasting against Satan for 6 years. So just imagine me acknowledging most spiritual people will be scared to do it because they'll feel like they're gonna die. And the truth is, the first one, I almost died. I almost died the first, because the devil won't come at you hard when you fast against him. So that's why I recommend, if you start a fast against Satan, a lifelong fast, right? I recommend that you stay out the public for 7 days, because he's going to try to utilize something in somebody against you. So when I do a new fast against Satan, I stay out the public for 7 days, for at least a week. So like, I'm already fasting against Satan. That's why it's more protection. When God knew I was going to do that, he sent more high-ranking angels, right? Just for that reason. Now, if someone else tries me and play with me, you face the same high-ranking angels that are here for my protection. That's why your family gonna fall off, your community gonna fall off. Playing with somebody fasting against Satan, you're gonna lose, buddy. I'm telling you right now. And how I know is because when you fast against Satan, God is gonna send high-ranking angels to protect you, because you had that level of faith. That's why I don't let people hold me back. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got that level of faith to where you don't think it'll do anything, okay, that's your level of faith. But at the same time, we are fighting Satan. So how couldn't it do nothing? Angels are fighting Satan in his kingdom, so how couldn't it do anything? So, you know, if you don't have that level of faith, that's you. But you're not going to stop me. Because I already know it works. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been fasting against Satan as an entity for 6 years, you know. But like I said, some people will be scared to fast against Satan or fight him, because you'll be scared you're going to die. And it's not a game. It really isn't. But I'm already in the trenches, so it's like I already got the protection. So that's why these lames out here who playing around my life, bro, you don't realize you're going to get war from the same angels that protect my life against Satan. And, you know, it's a whole different level of warfare here, buddy. It's the real thing, the real McCoy. Okay? And I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to be perfect. And if you're a cartoon, you must think people are going to be perfect. And I'm never going to be perfect, and I'm still going to destroy my enemies. Okay? And that's that. That's absolutely that, buddy. See, a real man already know a Christian ain't going to be perfect. A prophet ain't going to be perfect, because he human. So a real man don't need to be told this. It's these cartoons, man. You know, I call them cartoons. You know, they need to be, I don't know what needs to happen to them, but, you know, they don't realize you're not a perfect person. And so for that reason, I don't know. They think they can try you, and they find out the hard way, man. You know, no matter what you feel or even sense about me, it's not going to change the fact that God is here with me going to war against your community. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's too far gone, and we don't care, and we're going to war, and that's that. And we don't care about people's feelings. We don't care what people feel about America, because we're not worried about America. So long as you concentrate war against me, like I explained in my last video, we are going to war with the whole community. Okay? We're not playing any games. You play games, see how it hits different when I say I don't play games, because you can see all the games they playing, and we're not engaged in that. Okay? They play games around us. Listen, buddy, we're going to war with the whole community. By spiritual means, you're a drop in the bucket. I don't care about you. People in this building, I don't care about you. You're nothing. I'm going to war with this whole community. That's what I want. That's who I want. Because they shouldn't have joined you. They shouldn't have participated years ago. Now they're quiet and they fell back. But it's too late to fall back. Without my money, without my bag, without my money, it's too late to fall back. And an apartment ain't the money. Okay, EBT is not the money. Giving me an apartment is not the money. Okay, EBT is not the money. Food stamps ain't food, and food stamps ain't the money. The money is the money. Besides those things, you don't get to say, "Well, we doing this and we were doing." You a cheapskate. I want my money. I don't get it. You lose. Okay. So it ain't. So you see how it clears out all the foolishness. It ain't even no need to be here. It ain't even no need to try to kiss my butt because it ain't gonna work. I don't like butt kissers. I don't even like people to kiss people butt. Not even mine. I don't like butt kissers because if you kiss mine, you'll kiss somebody else's. I don't trust people that kiss people butt because you're broken into submission for various different reasons, and someone broken into submission to kiss people butt. And, it just goes against other principles, too, to kind of tell you it's not a good person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I don't kiss anybody's butt. That's one thing my dad taught me. Never kiss nobody's butt. And I don't kiss nobody. But he taught me that. He said that out of his mouth. My biological father. Never kiss nobody's butt. That's what he told me. I don't kiss nobody but. I ain't kissing your butt. Where I'm submitted to you and all of this and then no. That's how you know I was raised by masculine men. Somebody tell you don't ever kiss nobody but. That's a masculine person. That's a masculine man. I don't kiss nobody's butt, buddy. But you do. But y'all do. Listen, I don't kiss nobody's butt. I've been taught by my father never to do it. And then you ain't gonna never see me do it. You might have thought I did, but I wasn't. Listen, how I engage people, it wasn't kissing butt. It definitely wasn't. Okay, so I done gave an offering down to South America in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for, the harvest from that, which is coming in the days ahead. That's gonna give spiritual strength to get this $1 million down to South America. That offering right there is going to give, that I gave yesterday, that's going to give strength to get to giving this offering. See, when you give an offering, you need to fast. You need to fast when you're giving offerings, man, because there's a lot of satanic people around doing witchcraft and everything like that weak witchcraft. So you need to fast. Not because you're not strong enough, so they won't be able to manipulate other people against you. You know what I'm saying? So you fast while you're giving offerings, especially if you got to run an errand and actually go get the cash out the ATM. You always fast during that time in these seasons that we ain't going into 2026. You fast during that time. Okay, because I know what kind of people I'm dealing with. They bushwhack, they're unsophisticated, they losers, by everybody's standard. And I ain't gonna see them no different way. I see through the names. See, the names of these groups kind of is smoke and mirrors. You need to pay attention to who they are and be talking about that more than anything else. Be talking about that more than anything else. These people are basically loser witchcraft people. Gay, lesbians, trannies, and bisexuals. That's on drugs, half of them on drugs, and half of them awkward, lames, incompetent. That's what they are. See, when you look at the name, it beefs these people up. That's what got them gassed in the first place. Hiding behind these names, so I don't even acknowledge names of groups anymore. Because it's a form of gaslighting almost. You start thinking it's more than what it is. And then when you look at these people, you're like, oh, wait, hold up. That's a Freemason? Oh, wait, hold up. That's Illuminati? Oh, that ain't nothing, bro. That ain't nothing. See, I done cut through the names of these groups to the details. Because when you high ranking, that's what God gonna do with you anyway. He gonna show you the details of these people, and it's nothing. It's lame. And all it is a big organization that had years and decades to build itself. If I had hundreds of years to build myself, who would I be? I would be big too. If I had hundreds of years to build myself like the Freemasons or the Illuminati, they boast of building for hundreds of years. That's like, look at the house I built. 100 years ago. I built this house 100 years ago. They show you this huge house. I'm like, oh, okay. How long it took you to build it? Well, I built it 100 years ago. That's what they consist of. So they boast of the strength and networking in America. Like they a fat cat that did it in a reasonable time frame. That's 7 hours. They didn't do it in a reasonable time frame. But we do things in a reasonable time frame, right? I get respect in a reasonable time frame. Right. I get acknowledgement in a reasonable time frame. Freemasons didn't give no respect in a reasonable time frame. They had hundreds of years, decades to build what people acknowledge them as. That took decades and years and hundreds of years to do. Me and you, what's the difference is me and you get respect in a reasonable time frame in our lifetime before we get old. I done got respect before I became really an old man. So that's the competent people of our community. We get respect before we get old. Freemasons had thousands of years to build respect. It took them thousands of years to get it. You know what I'm saying? Me and you get respect before we get old, man. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why they don't take us seriously, because it took them hundreds of years and they old and they just now getting respect. They don't take a young man seriously because, see, you're incompetent. If you was competent, you would know these young dudes getting respect out here. Even younger than me. Even younger than me, they getting respect. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your level of competency. If you're incompetent and you used to being around incompetent people, you don't take a young man seriously because you ain't getting no respect as a young man. That's why you joined the group. That's why you joined Freemasons. That's why you joined the Illuminati, because you wasn't getting no respect as a young man or a young person. So you decided to join them to get some type of respect. That's why we're so anti-Freemason and anti-Illuminati, because we're anti-group. I'm anti-group. I'm anti-group. I roll solo. That's another reason. That's an anti-Freemason dynamic in itself. I am anti-group. I'm not with any group. That's what makes me that's one of the reasons I'm anti-Freemason or anti-Illuminati, because I understand the concept of a group. Incompetent men hiding behind a group. In this context, that's what it is. A whole bunch of incompetent people mooching off a group, like a coupon club. It's like getting a book of coupons. That's what you are, because you couldn't get it out the mud like the rest of us. You couldn't get respect before you got old like the rest of us. I got mine before I got old like the rest, like the competent men and the legends. The legends be 20 and 30 and 40 years old. And they already got a good measure of respect. So I figured it out, man. These people are incompetent. They go join the group and mooch off a group. You know what I'm saying? To get some type of credibility. And really, it ain't credited to them. Whoever the Freemasons is, it's not credited to one person. But my respect is credited to me. That's why I keep the lames back, because they try to form groups, even off of me and you. That's how bugged out they are. You can't form no group off of what I'm doing, buddy. I'm a one-man show. And I already proved that. I'm a one-man band. I'm a one-man band, buddy. And that's the difference between me and you. I don't join groups, and I also do not allow people to form groups around me. Okay, so no, you ain't with me. I'm not with you. All them lame moves and all that. I don't care about cliques and gangs and nothing. You know what's harder than that? A one-man show. One person. You know what I'm saying? Not all these other people and all these people acting like we together and all of that. That time is, I don't care about that. I don't care about the image of that, how that looks. Like you affiliated with all these people. I don't care about being affiliated with a whole bunch of people. I'd rather be one man that's getting his respect out the mud. I'd rather be one man that's getting acknowledged for his own works, and definitely his own works in his lifetime. Not mooching off what the Freemasons did 50 years ago, and that's basically what you're mooching off of. You're mooching off you're mooching off of the building of the Freemasons in the past 30 years. That's it. That's basically it. I mean, I'm not mooching off anybody's legacy or what these old dead people that's dead, these dead Freemasons. I'm not mooching off of some dead people. You know what I'm saying? That whatever they did and where they at, I just came in and took advantage of that, and then I act like I'm just as hard as they are. You know, see, that's how you need to look at it. You act like you just as competent as all these other people that was Freemasons, and you really yourself are not doing anything. You're not nothing. But so you don't project the same strength that these people do. The best you could do is mind reading. That's all you're doing. I figured you out. That's all you do, a little witchcraft, concentrated witchcraft and mind reading. We don't acknowledge that. No. We get our respect out the mud and we change the world. You know what I'm saying? You should know God's kingdom gonna change the world, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Freemasons haven't changed the world. All they did was populate, recruit people to their little cause, but you didn't change the world. We're doing that. So who you esteem is more competent? People that change the world without a job, changing the world without a job, or people that's occupied, but they're not doing it, they're not having any effect on the community. Come on, man, listen, man. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. Like, it's just I don't take them seriously, man. I don't take none of the people seriously because I know what it consists of. You know, a black person from the streets is gonna look at it like, you know, you joined that group because you couldn't get your respect out the mud yourself. At some point, you felt that way. They could do more for you than you could do for yourself. That's what you felt. I don't feel that way, and you can clearly see why. Because I'm already successful on my own. Why would I join their brand? Why would I join them and I'm successful? It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make business sense. If I'm successful as a brand on my own, I feel no need to merge with you. I feel no need for you to take credit for my brand of who I am. You know, it's not gonna happen, little buddy. I'm sorry to tell you. I hate them people. I hate Freemasons. And that's that. And they know that. You know I hate you. You know I hate Illuminati. And that's that. And it ain't gonna change. I promise you that, man. You listen, you underestimate my manhood. It's not gonna change. I'm telling you right now. Okay? You listen. I know you doubt my manhood because you keep playing these weak psychological games. Okay? That's how I know. And I ain't gonna never fold. I'm way beyond that. I ain't even thinking about that. I mean, can you imagine me folding? It ain't gonna happen. I'm too strong, I'm too big, it ain't gonna happen, buddy. And listen, you really are not conscious of all my whole experience, okay, in the world. You know, I done been on the streets, I done been homeless, how you gonna break a homeless man? You can't break me. I done been without everything. I done been on the streets with nothing. No food stamps, no money, no nothing. How you gonna break somebody like that? And you put me in a room and I got money and I got a phone and I got food when I wanna eat. How you gonna break somebody like that? I done been with nothing on the streets. You can't break somebody like me. But you too stupid, you're not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? If you was paying attention, then you would see, okay, this person been on the streets. I don't think we're gonna break nobody like that because he done been on way worse circumstances. So imagine us making him depressed. Imagine us playing with his mind to success. It's not gonna work. See, some people go through the streets and they use homeless circumstances as training to become militants and soldiers. You know, because the best thing you can get out of being homeless, it's almost the closest thing to military training. You have to deal with the elements. You have to learn critical thinking. You have to fend for yourself. You have to get food every day. It's your responsibility. And you become a master of controlling your own psychology and your own sense of well-being. You don't have anything, okay? So then what makes you in place, your control over your own emotions and mind, to where you still have a sense of well-being. You control that. You control your sense of well-being on the streets. You know what I'm saying? For police and everything, what they ignored was that I was getting stronger and stronger with being trained on the streets. And now I'm stronger than the police. The police couldn't go through, half of them killing themselves, blowing their own brains out with their own gun. Half of y'all could not stand in my shoes, and I guarantee you that's police. I guarantee you couldn't. See, sometimes, man, listen, people pay attention to training, and you think training makes the full human being. They couldn't stand. I guarantee you, I put my credibility on that. Some of these police couldn't go through what I went through. I put my whole credibility on that, man. I see through that, man. They couldn't go through what I've been through. They just hide behind positions and for some people psychologically, that makes you think they so strong and bad and good. They weak, man. Half of them, man, these cops blowing their heads off, their own heads off. So, I see past the smoke and mirrors of all these people. I know who I am, and I know who you are. I know you're weak. I know half of you are on the brink of depression and suicide in America. You know what I'm saying? And you sitting up here thinking you can do something to me, you out your mind. Because I'm a man from the streets. I'm a soul survivor, buddy. I survived on the streets. I'm true ghetto. I survived on the streets with nothing. You know what the new ghetto is? Homelessness. Being homeless is the new ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Because people in the hood, they caught up in the white man's culture and all this stuff going on. They'll step over you. They don't even act black no more. You know what I'm saying? So, but go talk to people on the streets. That's ghetto. They gonna have all the slang. They gonna have all the swag of somebody on the streets. All what we used to get from the hood. Ghetto people ain't even hood no more. They ain't even ghetto no more to me. The new ghetto is homeless people. And look how people in the ghetto treat homeless people. Look how they treat them, like they just step over them. And you supposed to be ghetto. How you gonna just step over somebody in the struggle like that? You know what I'm saying? Because you became a part of the American culture, the white girl culture. No disrespect to Europeans, but you became part of the white American white girl culture. You know what I'm saying? It's a culture. It's what it is. I'm identifying it. And you became a part of it where you don't want nobody touching you, daddy. Like, you too clean for a homeless person to even talk to you or touch you or whatever like that. So, and they became more ghetto. They the new ghetto. I don't know, man, half of these black people in the hood, they ain't ghetto no more. Pay attention to them. They trying to aspire to be, and it's okay to have aspirations, but it's tricky because you lose your sense of knowing where you came from with these aspirations, where you step over other people that is less fortunate than you. So in the middle of these ghetto people seeking aspirations, you became a person that's out of touch with reality. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened to you. So like for me, I represent, I come from the streets, literally. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more ghetto than, I don't care where you come from. I can go show you a hood where they're in all these hoods in America where they got these aspirations of white people, and you lost a grip on reality. That's what happened to you. So you could be in the hardest hood and lost a grip on reality. Now you like these white folks. And so now the new ghetto is homeless people. That's why they step on us. That's why they treat us like they do. Because they treated ghetto people like that back in the day. Now they don't treat ghetto people because ghetto people is profit in being ghetto because they can go repackage it and with these rappers and in these movies and all these documentaries, they can get money off of it. So it became, these famous hoods became connected to white America because of money, how money they can get off of it. You know what I'm saying? And all these businesses, they build it to buff it up and like it's a part of America's pride. These white people make these neighborhoods, oh yeah, they know about Compton, they know about Brooklyn, and they also pride themselves on what y'all became, the fame y'all got, getting it out the mud. They taking part of that pride that y'all have in it. You see what I'm saying? And that's what, and with that connection, and you connecting with them and they connecting with you, you can get out of touch with reality. You know what I'm saying? And so the new ghetto, because the ghetto is over there with them, and white people even taking pride in hoods that black people come from, that's what they doing. Pay attention. Well, I base that on business. I base that on money business. Okay, so starting with the rap music and the movies and all of that and everything they getting off the hood. You know what I'm saying? So don't be simple minded. Okay, they taking pride in those things too. They taking pride in Compton. They taking pride in 2026. They taking pride in all these hard neighborhoods because they see it on the internet and everything like that, right? So with those connections, it's not they. Even though it might seem like they keeping it 100, they don't. In between, with you connecting with them and they connected with you, and it might be a little bit of their fault, a little bit of your fault. You get out of touch with reality, and how we figure that out is how you perceive homeless people, how you look at the struggle. You know what I'm saying? So you can listen. I coined all type of phrases and ideas and worldviews. So I'm the only one that coined that. The new ghetto is homelessness. That's the new ghetto. Look how they dress, everything like that. You know, ghetto people, they won't save their money. They'll go try to look fresh and they in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Homeless man is how ghetto people used to be. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, I came from homelessness. I just came from it. I just came from struggle. So you can't break me, man. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I tell any street dude that, I don't care if you're from the streets or what. I'm from the struggle. And I'm going to be more aggressive about protecting my life. You know what I'm saying? Just like somebody on the streets, a homeless man on the streets, is what you think he going to do? If you playing around him and you in his path and he see you and see if you homeless, you know what I'm talking about. If you see somebody on the streets while you homeless, keep playing in your lane, what you gonna do? You gonna protect yourself. And that's another reason I learned to be armed, is just being on the streets. You vulnerable 24/7 to the elements. How you ain't gonna have no weapon? All these bugged out crazy people. Even down in Florida, this dude just killed a random homeless person while he was asleep. Just for no reason. I don't know what it was about. Maybe he was just disgusted with homeless people. I don't know. But maybe he's just a psycho. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, this random dude, and I think he was black. He was black too. Killed this homeless man. That show you right there. He wasn't white. He wasn't white for sure. But so that tell you, man, how out of touch people are, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta pay attention. These black folks aspire to be like these white folks, and they become business savvy, and they become part of the entrepreneurship, and they leave off a part of forgetting where they come from and certain things and elements, you know what I'm saying? And then so I don't consider them ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I listen to your mentality, I listen to how you move, I watch how you move. I don't consider you ghetto, I don't consider you part of us. You know what I'm saying? The ghetto moved really to the streets. It was already there, but it just totally mobilized to the streets. Where if you trying to get wisdom or you trying to see how the streets move, I ain't gonna go to ghetto people in the ghetto, because they all on the internet, you know, all that stuff. I'm gonna go to somebody sleeping on the streets, and I'm gonna talk to them about the hood in the ghetto. I ain't gonna go to none of these street dudes, because they infatuated with the streets. They infatuated with it. I ain't going to them. They street nerds, what I call street nerds. They all into the politics and the wiring of being from the streets and the hood and the ghetto. I ain't gonna go to them. I'm gonna go to a person on the streets. He gonna tell me everything about what's going on. He gonna tell me how cutthroat it is out here. That's what all I'm concerned about. He gonna tell me how cutthroat it is. He gonna tell me what's really going on out here. And everything like that. I ain't gonna go to a person from the ghetto in 2026. I ain't gonna ask him what's going on out here. He gonna make it so complicated that I ain't even really gonna pinpoint what it is. He gonna tell me this, that, and the third about what's going on. It's gonna be according to how people talk on the internet about these streets and everything and all that. I'm gonna go to a person that's homeless, because he gonna tell me the main problem. He gonna tell me the main problem he facing. He gonna sum it up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm gonna go to him. If I wanna keep my eyes and ears to the streets, I'm going to a homeless person. These days, I'm gonna go to him. I'm gonna soak up game from him. I'm gonna stand around him, and cause he see a million people. He see a million people, right, every day. You don't think he in touch with the streets and what's going on? He see people every day. He see people all the time. He know how the streets moving. He know how people thinking. He know the mentality of the people. He's right there with it. You go in and out from the ghetto back to your place where you live. He's out there all the time. So who you gonna trust? The person that's out there all the time. He's seeing everything. In the middle of the night, all in the morning, he's seeing everything. So I soak up game from the homeless people. The good homeless people, not these people that work for Freemasons, because see, you got them out there too. You got these homeless people that work for these people. That's why you can't really paint them as an angel. You can't angelize, if you will. You can't angelize homeless people, because some of them work for these black people that's against us. Some of them work for these white people that's against us. Some of them work for these Hispanic Latinos that's against us. Some of them work for these Americans and the Freemasons and Illuminati that's against us. So we can't trust all homeless people. Don't take it to the extreme, but when you find a good bro on the streets, you can soak up game. He gonna tell you what's going on. He gonna tell you what it is out here. He gonna tell you how to move out here. He gonna show you what's going on out here. So, with that being said, I come from the streets. And my whole point is, you cannot break me with that weak stuff you doing. With that house nigga stuff you doing. That's not gonna work on no street survivor, soul survivor. See, the police and many other people are not conscious of it, but a military person gonna be conscious of it, because you're gonna take into account your own training, and you're gonna see parallels to your training, right? So you see somebody that's homeless on the streets, you're gonna realize he got to deal with all the weather, he got to deal with all the elements, he got to deal with fending for himself, provide his own food, he got to watch out for danger and people and all of that and enemies and everything in each particular neighborhood and communities. Okay, with all that being said, a soldier gonna see it like that's a type of training. That's a type of training. That person's being trained. So I got boot camp training on the streets where you become hardened. You become, your mind, your heart, your soul is just hard like iron. That's from being on the streets homeless. And why people overlook it as pathetic, it's depending on who it is and how you utilize it. You could utilize it for a military style type training where you learn to survive through elements, different types of elements. It's depending on who it is. If you're a trifling person, or me, I'm gonna get credibility and energy off of every situation. I always do. That's just me. So the streets is no different. If I'm on the streets, I guarantee I'm gonna come out with some type of credibility that you overlook because you were lame. I'm gonna be a homeless man getting some type of credibility. I guarantee you that. But if you a sucker, you ain't gonna be able to milk nothing. You ain't gonna be able to, like I said, you ain't gonna be able to get nothing out the mud. You're not built like that. I can get respect out the mud from being homeless. Just being homeless. People gonna respect, especially with all this stuff, the gang stalking and all that going on, and I'm out there homeless with that stuff. They gonna respect me. People seen what I was going through out there with the gang stalking while I was homeless. So that's why I make it look beautiful. Everything I go through, that's why they hate it, because I get respect out the mud even as a homeless man. They can't respect. That's a real dude, because I'm gonna still move like me. So I ain't gonna get no respect out of it when I'm moving like I'm moving. That part. I'm moving like I'm moving, I'm gonna get respect out of any situation. That's the difference between white people and black people. They overlooked all of that. Now you hear from a black man, a real black man from North Carolina. That's black. Okay, I'm gonna get respect out of being homeless, because I'm gonna move like I move, and I ain't gonna get no respect. That's what I'm saying. Now these white folks gonna overlook all of that, because all they gonna look at, oh, that's a bum. That's how they gonna look at it. And basically they been looking at it like that from day one. If you from the hood, they been looking at you like bums anyway. How you know? Because they call their own people white trash when they ain't got nothing. So if they call their own people white trash when they don't have anything, what you think they think of you when you don't got nothing? They consider you black trash. If they consider them white trash, what you think you are? That's where it came from. These racist white people, or these rich white people. They call these people that live in trailer parks and all of that, these white people that live in the boondocks, they call them white trash, right? Okay, so what is based off of? It foundationally is based off of them having nothing, right? Okay, so you don't have nothing. So what you think they think of you? This is what I thought about. If they call them white trash and that's their own people, what they call us, what they think about you, you ain't got nothing. They think you trash. They just don't say it, man. And that's why they sleep on you, because they slept on me because they thought I was trash. Meanwhile, I was getting training and everything. Your own black people will think you trash because they like I said, they aspired to be like, now you see what I'm saying? We real black. We stayed in touch with being black. They didn't. They went after being an entrepreneur and these businessmen, moguls and all of that. They went after that. I'm not saying don't go after it. You know what I'm saying? But they lose they self and they lose touch with reality. They think they got it, but they don't. See, I learned to stay earthy. What I call earthy. 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 In tune with your vibration, and in tune with the elements. An African man gonna stay earthy. You know what I mean? And you're not gonna be earthy stepping over homeless people. Bob Marley wouldn't step over homeless people. Bob Marley wouldn't oppress poor people in poverty. He would take the time to listen to people and like I said, soak up game and listen to them. Bob Marley was saying soak up game from the homeless people. He ain't gonna listen to nobody that got these aspirations as white people, and you got out of touch with reality and forgot where you come from and kind of forgot what's going on in the real world, and you kind of compromising your principles. It's that too. I mean, you can forget where you come from, so to say, that's behind me, but you can't forget your principles of where you come from. Okay? When you forget your principles where you come from, that's what we talking about. And I want to forget where I came from, geographically. But I'm going to take the principles with me. Because there's some principles you get from those situations that white people can't get. They can't get it. They can get it from you, but it's still going to be kind of, filtered, you know what I'm saying? It's filtered like filtered water, But it's in you like tap water, you know what I'm saying? Straight out the spigot, man, straight out the water hose. Like we was kids drinking water out the water hose. You know what I'm saying? Back in the South, we used to drink water out the water hose, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, y'all can't really do that up here because y'all got these projects and everything. So in the South, man, we drank water out the water hose. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that water tastes a little funny going through that water hose. We still drink it though. See, in the South, we a little more funky than everybody else. We got a little more earthiness than they do too. We from the South, you funk, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to tell people, man, you ain't gonna ever be able to compare me to black people up here, man. We got funk down there in the South, man. How we eat, everything we eat. You know what I'm saying? How we carry ourselves, man. How we improvise. We improvise on a whole nother level than just the ghetto experience. Southern people improvise because we really lack certain things of the city. You know what I mean? And it's peep game though. Think about it. We like certain things from the city, and it's easy even with these white people, and we began to improvise in different ways. So in our walk of life, people don't understand, man. It's an art to being real. It's an art to it. You know what I'm saying? And some people think they real, but you like 1995 real. You would have been real in 1995. You would have been real in 95, but you're not real in 2026. And see, that's how you ain't got your ear to the streets. You ain't got your. That ain't being carnal. That ain't being a worldly person. It's understanding principles, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what keeps all of this afloat. That's why even as a prophet, I can talk to real ones because it's all about principles. You'll find many preachers will tell you, I can talk to real ones because principles, man. It's the knuckleheads, the ones that think they hard, them the ones that's the problem. But the real ones, the real killers, I can talk to real killers because they got principles. Ironically, see, this is what white America don't know. Many killers and real people, they got criminals, got principles. That's how they're able to come out of it. That's how they're able to go to the next level, because they become a person of principles. They become thoroughbreds, you know what I'm saying? And so they begin to be respected by everybody. A preacher or a Christian can kind of talk to somebody they'll halfway listen to, because all they gonna hear is principles. That's all they gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? That's all the world consists of, as far as the competent people, the legends, and everything like that. The world is set up. The only game that's set up is rules and regulations and principles. That's it. You either live by it, you live and survive by it, or you die because of a lack of it. That's the only thing people look at. You can go from any race of people. They may articulate it differently, but when it comes to every situation, every race of people gonna go through principles. Why clowns don't have them. Clowns don't have no principles. That's why I trip off of them when they get all these paraphernalias and act like they real, because you got these paraphernalias of the street or America, but we can't see no principles, and that's where you lose, right there. Because if you go to the Italians, the Jamaicans, the Russians, it's all going to be principles that everybody go by. Rules and regulations. That's the only game that is real in the world. Rules and regulations. That's the only game that's enforced, that we take seriously, if you will, is rules and regulations. That's the only game we take seriously. We gonna go by rules and regulations, and if you don't line up with that, man, who are you? That's how we look at it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you know, in like I said, some people are out of touch. You was real back in 9/5 by principles, but you're not real now. Because times are harder. Times are harder. So ain't nobody gonna be homeless. Okay, so then you can't say that's a lame, or you can't say that's a person that, with the cost of living anyway, whether he gets there or he's been aspiring anyway, the cost of living gonna make you back up off somebody that's in the streets. You gonna back up off that person, because you know, even if he did apply himself, he ain't getting out of it. So I can't label him a lame if he can't, if it's out of his hands. If it's out of his hands, and the cost of living is jacked up, right? How am I say he lacked principles? Because a lame is basically a person that lacked principles. That's it. It's not that you a nerd. I can show you a nerd. I'll be cool with some nerds, some quirky people, or some people ain't never been in the streets. They got more principles than you. When I label somebody a lame, it's because you ain't got no principles, or your principles is whack. It ain't because, oh, you not a street person, you ain't get your thug on, you ain't never caught no felonies, you ain't never done no crimes. It ain't because of that. It's because you lack principles. You know what I'm saying? You lack principles. You know what I'm saying? That's what make you a lame. And then you came out here, and then when you got exposed for a person that, you see what I'm saying, that don't have no principles. You know what I'm saying? I can show you the biggest, brawniest dudes with no principles. They got all the look. They look like they gangsters and thugs. They got the dreads. They 6'5". They got muscles and everything. They about 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? But they got no principles. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. You know, so, you know, I go by principles. America is one lame now to me. I mean, okay, you marry children, right? But you're talking about pedophiles. Okay, so you're lame by principles. You're incompetent by principle, bruh. That's what see how we breaking everything down? That's the only game we play, rules and regulations. That we gonna break it open. Okay, you marrying children. You marrying children, right? How are you not lame coming out here talking about pedophiles and investigating people for being a pedophile, but you marrying children in the United States of America? You a lame, okay? Russia is not marrying children. Whatever you may say about Russia, they're not marrying children today. Whatever you may say about China, by principle, no child marriage laws. So who's the best? They're marrying children. Russia's not. So who you would say the best right there? Based on rules and regulations, America's marrying children in 34 states, more than half the country. Russia is not marrying children. So you gonna say America's still better than Russia in America marrying children? China, see where you at, right? You're no longer the best, buddy. Because you made new child marriage laws, and that's what destroyed the present generations. You could have blamed the older generations. You could have blamed them and said that was their mentality. We ain't got nothing to do with that. That's old laws, right? You can't say it's old laws and you just made new child marriage laws. So that's what makes you not the best in the present day time. You made new child marriage laws, buddy. That's what I'm saying. It's all, now you see that? It's a matter of fact way. A lame think he can manipulate and you can't. If you either real or you fake. You marrying children, you lose, okay? You're not the best. Some would say you're good as your leader. If Donald Trump is not is Donald Trump the best world leader? Oh, let's go back to another administration. Was Joe Biden the best leader in the world? No. So at the time of Joe Biden's administration, who was the best? If we gauge it by leaders, because all you're gonna look at is the military and the economy and all of that, man. I mean, you know, even with that being said, you're only great as your leader because your leader can destroy all of your economy and misuse your military like Trump is doing down in the Caribbean. So while you look at the military and you look at money, right? A bad leader, an incompetent leader can come in and misuse the money, put tariffs on the whole community and all of that. Talk about your economy. And then Trump is putting tariffs everywhere, all over the economy, and he utilizing the military to go to war down in the Caribbean, bothering the good Caribbean people, and then just messing up the whole vibe of that. The whole vibe is off, I imagine, down there in the Caribbean because of all that stuff, man. And then he using ICE, ICE is out here. Look at all the stuff going on. So with that being said, you're only as good as your leader. That's how good you are. You're only as good as your leader. And with that being said, Joe Biden, was he the best leader in the world? And you're going to say, well, only way you can think about it and say it that way is that if you think about all he has access to. He has access to the military of America. He got access to the government. He got access to all that America has. But here's the catch. A bad leader is going to misutilize all of that. So you can't say he's the best leader because he's affiliated with it or because he's a leader over it. Because an incompetent leader is going to misuse it. They're going to misutilize it. They're going to utilize it the wrong way. So with that being said, who was the greatest leader when Joe Biden was in office? Who was the greatest leader? Putin, Russia. Joe Biden wasn't the greatest. America wasn't the greatest. Russia was the greatest. Russia, I can't tell you how long. You could go back to Barack Obama. You could say after Barack Obama. But definitely after Barack Obama, man, you listen, America has not been the greatest since after Barack Obama. Because you could look at that as, that was racial progress, right? So then you can kind of say it's greatness in that, right? But after Barack Obama, nope. All these other leaders, man, listen, man, you have ceased to be the greatest after Barack Obama, man. So someone else got to be the greatest. You can't be biased. Let's go by rules and regulations. You got all this stuff going on. You see all this stuff. How can you say that's the greatest leader in the world? Okay, so you're only as great as your leader because they go misutilize all this stuff. Okay, with that being said, With that being said and understood, that an incompetent leader is going to come in with all the strength that you do have and misuse that and make that look like weakness and make it look pathetic with all that you got. With all that, what make you feel you're still the greatest, it's going to be misutilized. All that greatness is going to be misutilized by a leader. So you're only as great as your leader. With that being said, Joe Biden wasn't the greatest leader in the world. Come on, man. We know that, man. So then you got to give it to somebody else. So who was the greatest leader when Joe Biden was in office? It wasn't him. It was not him, right? So who was the greatest leader? See where you at? You ain't been paying attention. Who was the greatest leader when Joe Biden was in office? You didn't even think about it. That's what I'm talking about. You looked at just the government and all this stuff going on, and you just thought we were still the greatest. Cause see, you might have even thought about it. But you know why you ain't think about it? Who is the greatest besides us? We're no longer the greatest. You know why you ain't think about it? Because you looked at the military, you looked at the police, you looked at all the facilities of America, and you still thought you was the greatest. Who was the greatest when Joe Biden was in office? Who was the greatest? Russia. Russia was the greatest. You see what we had? And then you try to put Trump back in there to make y'all the greatest, and it ain't working. Because Trump is misutilizing and not utilizing all the strength of America the proper way. So he's not the greatest. So who's the greatest? Russia. Russia's the greatest country in the world right now. They just don't have the hype and the pop culture behind them like America. That's it. But as far as principles, as far as rules and regulations, it can't be America. It can't be. It can't be you. Okay? So that's basically it. That's basically it, man. You know, and so you can have pride in this country, and I don't see how you can have pride. See, there's some white people, you got blind pride in America. It don't matter what they do. Just like a child of a mother, it don't matter what that child do. Some children can do no evil in their mother's sight. You are like a mother to America where your child can do no evil. So I don't take you seriously, because I know many of you patriots, it don't matter what America become. You still gonna be with America anyway. We just haven't really crossed that bridge. But when we finally do, everybody gonna see that many of these people out here that's act like they for the right thing and doing the right thing and all of that, they ain't gonna care nothing about it. They gonna still stand with America, rain, sun, or shine, no matter how evil and pathetic this country is. That's where the white people gonna come back, and the racist white people gonna come back and join America like never before when it becomes evil. Because they already evil. Think about it. They already evil. So when America emerges as more evil than ever, who's gonna be the core? Who's gonna be the core backbone of America? All these racist people, all these blind patriots. They already emerging through the Trump administration, through MAGA. These blind American patriots. They the beginning of these people that join America and stand with America, rain, sun, or shine, don't care what they do, didn't never really care. And the more America become evil, they are going to be the ones that stand with America. Yeah, man. Listen, it's already happening. These blind patriots. That's why you can't listen to nobody talking about America. Because look, some of them, man, they don't stand for what's right or wrong. I mean, right. They don't stand for what's right. They just gonna stand with these blind racist people, and these blind patriots gonna stand with America. So you can't even break down principles like real people do, cause it ain't gonna matter. You can break down principles to everything, and they are not going to side with you. Like marrying these children, they ain't gonna side with you. They ain't gonna. That America's marrying children. How can you be around here talking about pedophile? They ain't gonna side with you because they're blind in their patriotisms. Okay, you see what you're dealing with. They ain't gonna. You think you're gonna win because you right? No, you're not. You ain't gonna win because you right. They still gonna stand with America. You just haven't come to that bridge where you see all these people just say, well, we still gonna stand with America. We still gonna stand with America. You just haven't come there yet. You just haven't come to that bridge yet. But you're gonna see many of these Americans, they never was right and they don't care about being right. So it's a waste of time to talk about morality, right or wrong. Because when we break it down, they the ones at fault, marrying these children. You know what I'm saying? So already right there, we kind of already coming to the bridge where it ain't about right or wrong anymore. Come on. You still defending these people and they marrying children. That's how we know. That's how we know it. It ain't about right and wrong. It's about you defending America. So we ain't gonna be corny and even talk about right and wrong. We ain't talking about right and wrong no more. We at war, and that's all there is to it. So I sidestep. Going into 2026, I sidestep people talking about right and wrong, man, because it ain't even a matter of that. Because when we find that you are at fault, you still out here. Okay, so a smart person doesn't practice insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results, right? So you ain't gonna see me do the same thing, expecting something differently to happen, right? I know you're already in a position, a pre-position, where it's not about right and wrong. It's not about right and wrong anymore, because we showed you the wrong you did according to what you was out here talking about, right? How you responded to that, like you didn't even care, right? Okay, boom. So it's not about right and wrong anymore. It's about you blindly defending America. You don't really care. Okay, so why am I gonna take the time to go back and forth like they real as us, where they break down real rules and regulations? They ain't as real as us. Right, so why even act like that's the situation with these Freemasons and Illuminati? Like we breaking down principles. We already showed you what they doing. Okay, so how you responded to that? How did you respond to it? Like you really didn't care, right? You really didn't care about them marrying children, but you was calling everybody out here pedophiles and everything. So see, that's lames. It comes full circle, 360 to my point and my message. If it's all about rules and regulations and principles with real people versus fake people, lames, right? A lame can't break down rules and regulations because he knows nothing about it. He don't know nothing about it. A real one done been all in these politics out here from coast to coast. I done been to California everywhere. I'm not no local New York person. I done been in California, everything, right? Until they do that, they not on my level. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's a difference between a local person and a nationwide person. They not equals. That's why you even hear rappers on their songs. Even Prodigy, he'll say, "I'm international, you local." Because it's a difference, because you got more understanding of the whole world and these principles. You ain't got tunnel vision from where you come from. These people around here in New York, you got tunnel vision. That's why you don't see what's coming. You don't see what it is. I done been all around the country. I'm telling you what I know. See, some people don't know different types of ghetto. I know different styles of ghetto. You know one type of ghetto, which is New York. Now go to California, you see different types of ghetto. It's not the same thing. It's similar, but there's different. It's a different style. It's a different style of ghetto. It just is. And then until you go to California and you here in New York and you think this is all that it is to be ghetto, you don't listen. I got more than one fighting style. Being in California and being down south and being here, I got all different types of fighting styles. You can never compare to us. I'll never compare myself to a local. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere. I don't care where you from. If you ain't been around, you ain't in league with us. We national. We national people. We nationals. If you're not a national, it's not even fair because you haven't been challenged nationally. That's number one. That's the number one reason. You've been challenged by all these New York people. But you ain't been challenged nationally. We ain't seen what you was made of in California. They seen what I was made of in California. So I don't even let them get in the ring with me. No. It's local. You're local. I'm national. That's what I'm saying. That's why, though. I broke it down. It's not just, because I went to another place. That's how people act. They simplistic. They one-track minded, man. You know, you see all the dynamics of life, all these principles and rules and regulations. Then a simple person just comes in and think they can win. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. You can't. That's what I'm trying to show you. You can't win according to real men. You can win according to chumps and busters and blames and bums. You can't win to know a real man gonna chop down everything. That's why even with the Freemasons, I can show you some of them are not real men. No, they're not. You know how I know? Principles. Look at the games they play. Look at the games they play. The principles, the lack of principles. Listen, that's all real men are talking about. That's all. We ain't got no magical book of rules or some magical way of life. All we talk about is rules and regulations and principles. Why you think it's simple? It runs the world. It runs the world. It runs money. It runs power. It runs militaries. It runs everything. Rules and regulations, not money. Money don't run everything. Rules and regulations run everything. I can show you men with money that got killed because of lack of principles and rules and regulations. They got money, but they dead. Oh, you want an example? The dude in New York and Manhattan that got killed about this time last year. Down the healthcare dude, he got money, right? He was on top, right? So if we go by money, cash, rules, everything around me, he was on top. Why he died? Why did he die? You know why he died? You know why he got smoked out here by the dude Luigi? You know why he got smoked? Because of a lack of rules and regulations. Am I right or wrong? Well, that dude Luigi's in essence, he seen some lack of rules and regulations. So what you gonna say? Money rules the world, or rules and regulations do? Rules and regulations do, bro. Especially when you come to different countries. Okay, they both got money, so you're not gonna get out of it because you got money with these other countries. America's not gonna get out of all these jams because you got money. And see, that's what they gonna learn. That's it right there, that's 7 out. You're gonna learn as Americans, you're not getting out of this because you got money. People gonna go by rules and regulations and what you've been doing down in the Caribbean, what you've been doing in the Middle East, and what you've been doing in Europe. That's what they're gonna go by. America's gonna get smoked for a lack of rules and regulations. That's what runs the world. This right here, this money, don't run the world. You know what runs the world? Rules and regulations. That's what I'm saying. That's the only game we go by. That's how you know who from the streets and who not. It ain't got nothing to do with just, as you can clearly see, just ghetto and being a thug or a criminal. This runs militaries, governments, and everything. If you have no rules and regulations, you just good as dead. It's just a matter of time for it to happen. By different means, or it's a million ways to die from a lack of principles and regulations. And when we find that you don't have any, you stuck. That's it. It ain't no more talking. Freemason stuck. Got people out there in the hallway right now listening. Like I'm stupid. That's stuck. That's stuck right there. That's stuck. That's why you out there. Why you out there? Because you stuck. You was stuck before you got there. You was already stuck. Okay? You thought I was a chump, right? That's what I'm saying. I get respect from military and everything. I live with military. And no matter what their position was against me, I came out with respect. I get respect from real people that served in the military. Now imagine me honoring or caring about who they are. If I got their respect, who are you? That's how I look at it. You're nobodies. I pulled your card. I already know. I just pulled your card. You're out there in the hallway, all the way out there listening, and you don't know how dangerous I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no smoke with me, buddy. You out your cotton picking mind. And you is picking cotton because you a slave for the Americans. You know, this don't rule the world. Money don't rule the world. Rules and regulations rule the world, buddy. Now, I welcome you to the real world, America, where you ain't gonna be able to manipulate because of all these little organizations and Freemasons and money. That ain't gonna work. That's corny. Everybody's going by rules and regulations, because as you get awakenings in evolutions, you're gonna get evolutions in your thinking process. You ain't gonna just have no spiritual, so to speak, evolution. You're gonna have a psychological evolution. And when you do, you're gonna reason on rules and regulations as a whole community. Think about it. As we progress as humanity, everybody ain't looking at no money. We ain't looking at no money. We looking at rules and regulations. That's what we looking at. Finally, the world is coming up to the black man's standard for judging everything. Rules and regulations. It's finally come to the black man world. That's why you could say we about to rule, because hey, well, you could say I'm about to rule, maybe not you. Boom. You know, because you ain't got no rules and regulations. But the real black man is gonna rule, because now it's coming to my world. Maybe it's only me. Maybe it's not us. So I'm just sensitive when I talk about me and us ruling or whatever. But it's gonna be me, right? Because now it's coming to the black man's world. Why you saying I'm fake? See, I'm just pulling cards, man. I'm just here pulling cards. Listen, buddy, you can't fight me. I just pull cards. That's all I'm doing. Listen, it's some black people that won't fight white people. I fought white people in this country. If you don't know. Oh, go ask. Go ask. So imagine me going back and forth with you when I know you scared to fight white people. For anybody calling me fake, and I don't fault white people. See, that's how I know what you value. You value being this fake. Somebody calling you fake. I don't care if you call me fake. I'm too old for me to care about that. Now, if I was 16, I might care about it. I might try to prove something. I don't care nothing about you calling me fake. You would think I would, as much as I talk about real and who's faking, but I don't care about you calling me fake. Because I'm going to show you as a real man rules and regulations, and ain't no way in the world I could be fake, because it ain't something a fake person can learn. You can go read a book. You can watch all these real people on videos, and you will not be able to master the rules and regulations that I'm talking about. That's how tricky it is. That's how tricky it is. You can watch all these videos. White boys do it all the time. White boys watch all these movies, all these videos, right? And they think they can emulate the streets. Somewhere they still don't make it, do they? And black people the same way. Just because you black don't mean you real. Because you know how I know? Because you don't have no rules and regulations. And as long as you don't have that, listen, the world is going where I'm going. The black man can finally rule, whether he has to rule by himself, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by somebody calling me fake right out there. Okay, so let's go back to that point. I'm gonna slow down on that point a little bit, since you thought that was somewhere where I was fake. I'm one of the only black people that's as real, talking about real rules and regulations, that know about America marrying children, right? Most of these black people didn't even know about it. So you couldn't even enforce rules and regulations on my level. Well, how? You don't know about child marriage. So then, besides understanding the principle of rules and regulations, you still got to have education. So you out here fake, in a sense of reality and non-reality. Well, you didn't even know your country was really marrying children, right? So how you could tell me what's fake and you was around here in a fake world? You was in a fake world. You in a fake world that's not reality, but I'm in reality. See, that's hip hop. That's hip hop. I guarantee you, the person said that listen to a bunch of hip hop and they're part of the culture, don't they? They listen to a bunch of hip hop, don't they? You listen to a bunch of hip hop, don't you? But you don't understand rules and regulations. You can't fold me, buddy. I heard that female say something out of pocket. Let me tell you something, buddy. I don't discriminate against females. You understand me? Which means if you play in my lane, I enforce on you just like I enforce on men. Because you should be, listen, if you so much of a woman, then this is my philosophy. This is my rules and regulations. If you so much of a woman, you shouldn't be playing in a man's lane. If you want to be treated like a woman, then don't play in a man's lane. That's common sense. But see, these new black people think they can come in, and these females, these black females, think they can play in the streets and play in these politics and get the luxury of still being considered a female. I don't see you like that. You play in a man's lane, I treat you like a man. I enforce on you like a man. That's how it should be. It's too much of it going on. Where these specifically these women in America think they can come and play in our lane in the politics. That means talking behind your back and talking around you, like people like in the streets do, right? But they don't take what come with it. So this is for future reference, man. Anybody using these females yapping and talking, I don't care if you think I'm picking on females or not. My principle is they shouldn't be playing with a man. And I guarantee you, people in prison gonna feel me. Why you think you represent that? Man, if a dude in prison finds that a woman in the facility of the prison system is playing in his politics, you already know where I'm going with this. She might end up dead. If it's a CO, a correctional officer, or whatever, a warden, whatever you want to call it. This is a female, but she halfway cool with the other side, right? And she playing in your politics. You hear her yapping and talking, right? You telling me how the fellas gonna see it, how the convicts gonna see it, how the inmates gonna see it. They gonna see it like she shouldn't have been playing in your politics. We don't care what happened to her. If she died, ain't nobody gonna say, well, that was wrong. Ain't nobody gonna say that. They ain't gonna say it because by rules and regulations, she shouldn't have been in his politics. That's what it is. And see, it applies everywhere, even in prison. She'll be dead. You gonna be dead playing with real niggas in the prison system. You know what I'm saying? Talking about who real and fake. Somebody come out there and cut your throat, man. And you don't know I'm sharp enough to come and attack that quick when I hear your voice. I could do that and you couldn't get away. But you're not worth it. That's how much of a soldier I am. You cannot be in my lane as a female and think you're gonna play. You got the luxury of doing it because you got a big booty or whatever you think you are. Because you're cute. I don't care about that. A soldier is not gonna care about it. I'm not gonna value how you look. Make sense? Like I say, I'm not having sex with you, so your vagina don't mean nothing to me. Your vagina does not influence me. I'm not having sex with you. Some of you lame men get influenced by these females and you ain't even having sex with him. You ain't even having sex with a female and you let her come and charm you and you ain't even having sex with her. This is how soldiers think, especially with females joining the military. What you gonna do with all these females joining the military these days? Whether it be America, whether it be other countries. They join the military, right? Then they on the battlefield. We ain't giving them no luxury of, you could die, you could get punched, you could get stabbed, you could get cut in the throat, just if you out there in the field. Make sense? But here in America, y'all let people, I'm gonna tell you what the streets do. Y'all let these females come out here as spies, spying on their enemies, but they don't take what come with it. That's a 7 out. You come out here spying on people, using these females to be your eyes and ears, and you don't think we gonna do nothing to them. Listen, I don't live, but see, it gets more complicated, I guess you could say, because some of us don't live by the same rules and regulations. We don't live by the more high caliber regulations. My high caliber regulation is, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care. Women are capable of hurting me just like a man. That's the other principle I'm gonna go by to justify that principle. A woman can hurt you just like a man can. So what I'm gonna do? Oh, just act like she just cool. Or I ain't gonna worry about it. Listen, bro. A woman can hurt you just like a man can. So what you gonna do? Act like she just a woman and that's it? Man, come on, man. Listen, bro. I prove my intellect. I prove my competency in my mind. Now prove yours. Prove you just as competent as I am. You can't be serious, man. You could be, see, if you was in the wrong man's hand, you would be dead already and don't know no better. You don't know who's dangerous and who's not. I'm a dangerous man, buddy. You couldn't even play with other people that's dangerous as me like you playing with me. Only reason you can play with me like this because I'm a Christian. If somebody who's just as dangerous as me, that's not a Christian, they would have ran out there and did something to you. As soon as they heard your voice. That's what I'm trying to show you. Now you see how I think. Run out there barefooted and check you. That's all I'm saying. Don't play in my politics if you don't want to take what come with it. That's all I'm asking. That's all. That's fair enough, right? That's why I talk about rules and regulations, man. I don't let females play in my lane for free. You know what I'm saying? And if you real, and if you're a soldier, you ain't gonna let no females play in your lane for free either. That's all they gonna do in America. Like a little like a teacup poodle playing in your lane. Sitting in a chair like a little teacup poodle. Get your hair burned off. Get all that hair burned off the poodle. Be walking around with no hair burned, with your hair burned off. Be around here bloated like a dead dog. Bloated, stomach blowed up. I'm just saying, bro. I'm dead serious. Listen, man. I don't let no females play in my lane, bruh. Okay? Now, if you a sucker, if you a Casanova, you know what I'm saying, and you a lover boy, you gonna let women play in your lane. Listen, that's what they gonna do out here. Because half of them want to be real anyway. You know what I'm saying? Half of them want to be a nigga anyway. In this context, a man. That's just for the black community. We call a nigga could be a man. You know what I'm saying? In the South, we call a man a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they want to be like a nigga anyway. You know what I'm saying? And they'll come out here and play in your lane or whatever. You know, but you got to take what come with it, man. You don't get the luxury of acting like no female. Oh, she was just a female. Well, why was she just playing in my lane then? If she's a female, then why is she playing in my lane? So you can't even be mad if you got rules and regulations. You can't be mad at me. Because you're going to say, yeah, well, you know, hey, what can you say? Exactly. Playing in my rules and regulations. Playing in my rules and regulations. What you think that's going to lead to you? Oh, I'm going to just be cool and just ignore that. I'm not ignoring nothing. That's the boss man. The king would kill anybody. A real king would destroy a whole woman's family. When we talk about kings, am I right or wrong? A king ain't gonna say, oh, well, you know, I ain't gonna kill all these women that did all this stuff. He gonna line them up and burn them all. A king gonna line them up. He'll line up all that vagina, buddy. He'll line up all that vagina and burn it to a crisp. Your vagina will be burned to a crisp. Crunchy. You'll have a crunchy vagina. Lips crunchy and everything. Vagina lips crunchy. Listen, I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. A king will destroy you. I don't care about you being no woman. Shouldn't have played in my lane. That's all I'm saying. You can't do what I do. A woman can't go to the prison system. A woman can't be around felons and inmates, even if you don't go to the prison system. She cannot go where you go. That's how I look at it. I can go where she go. I can go be around a whole bunch of women in prison. What's going to happen out of that? She can't go to the prison system where you would go as a man. She can't go. Man, she'll be raped. That's the first thing gonna happen. She will not make it. They will say they shouldn't have put her in here. A woman can't go where you go, can she? She can't even go to a shelter. She can't even go to a man's shelter. You can't even go to a man's shelter, buddy. You'll wake up with 3 fingers in your vagina. Well, how did that happen? You'll wake up with 5 fingers in your vagina. I'm just being real, man. You can't go. So then if she can't go where I go, how can they act like they us? That's what I'm saying. If you can go be in the shelters, the prison system, you can go where real hardened criminals are and command respect like a man, then you can say you in our lane. Until then, listen, buddy, you playing yourself thinking you in my lane, buddy. Because you can't walk a man's life and lane all the way through. No. And until then, based on rules and regulations, why would I take you seriously? What about a queen? A queen couldn't come out here and do anything. Man, stop playing, bro. Stop playing. We ain't talking about they are not queens. They're not. How we know? How we know for sure? A lack of rules and regulations. Where even if you are against me, you lack rules and regulations, little buddy. Listen, you don't even do it right. Well, how you a queen and I could have killed you? Well, as soon as you start talking, listen, I know what you're doing. I can't rush out there and do something to you. So you'll be a dead queen at best, wouldn't you? Listen, man, come on, stop playing. I'm just being 100, man. Because I'm a soldier. I'm like David. David practiced war, and he studied war. That's what I'm doing. Just in case you think I'm being carnal and I'm out of pocket as a Christian, I study war, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm brutal in war, and I don't have a problem with that because a king gonna be brutal in war. Burn you to a crisp. Totally crunchy. You was going for the extra crunchy look, wasn't you? You was going for the extra crunchy texture, wasn't you? That's why you tried me, because you wanted to be extra crunchy. You just wanted to give up and be, you wanted to crash out and be extra crunchy. You wanted to crash out and then be extra crunchy. Hey, you wanted to go ahead and crash out and go ahead and be extra crunchy. You wanted to crash out and be extra crunchy, didn't you? That's what I'm saying. I'm heavy-handed with this, bro. I'm not a lightweight, man. Stop playing with me, man. I don't let no females play in my lane, because you ain't gonna take what come with it. Even the queen ain't gonna halfway take what come with it. A queen gonna do what all these other females do. You gonna hide behind other people. So we don't even respect that. If you can't stand your ground and take care of your own business. Now for females that can, listen, you a blue lobster. You're 1 in a million. Man, half these females can't handle their own situation. So why I'm gonna address a rarity, something that's rare. I'm addressing these average females that can't stand their own and be playing in our politics and be spying for the other side and everything and thinking it's all good. I don't listen, man. Listen, it's not all good, bro. Okay? And it doesn't make me a punk, because the old school gonna say, "Oh, that's a punk." A punk? How? She can hurt me just as well as I can hurt her. I'm the type of man, I don't let women put their hands on me before I ever put my hands on them. I let women put their hands on me. I'll let you get away with that. But if I feel like you're trying to hurt me, then I'm gonna take care of my business. Okay, and is that domestic violence? Well, is it domestic violence for me to defend myself against a human being? No, it is not. Well, that's domestic violence. That's domestic violence. It's domestic violence if I defend myself. I don't see it that way, because I see 2 human beings can fight at any time. Okay, so I'm gonna understand human nature where 2 human beings can have, in the close quarters, can have a physical altercation. Why they can't? Why can't they? And are you toxic? You're human, that's what you are. And you've had a physical altercation with another human being. She just happened to be a woman. That's how it is. Yeah. Now, domestic violence is a person that you can't even offend them without them putting their hands on you. That's a person that's a person that's a domestic violence type of character. You know what I'm saying? You need help because you can't be with a woman if she can't offend you. A woman gonna offend you. She gonna insult you. In the sign of an abusive person, a woman can't insult you. She get beat up every time she insults you. So if a woman knows she been insulting you, she knows you ain't no abuser. How she has the luxury of insulting you, just calling you whatever, saying whatever, but you're abusive. Well, you would take full advantage. Hey man, we all know, man. Women, a man that's abusive gonna check you every time you insult him. What you say? What you say? Gonna be like Ike. What you say? So don't misconfuse my principles with somebody who can't be insulted or anything by a female. Nah, it's a whole different lane. People playing in war and playing with politics. And at that point, I don't care what gender you are. And that's how a king gonna operate. A king will, right or wrong, yes or no, a king will kill man and female, right? So in his mind, it don't matter. You just ain't on that caliber of principles. You're not a king. A king will kill anybody. Man, woman, and children. Sometimes children. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, buddy. Hey, listen. A king will kill children, buddy. Listen, man, I'm done with it, man. I'm done with saying what I gotta say. Now, back to my regular scheduled program. Back to my regular scheduled program. Rules and regulations. And this is what I'm talking about. Okay? The black man like me can rule right now. Because now, in this time, it ain't all about money. Now, it was when the white man had everything, right? And he just ran everything with money and, you know, he had all the influence, you know what I mean? Right? So, that world is gone. Now, it's not about money anymore. Because people, you know why? Because people despise the Americans. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna adjust to rules and regulations to box America out how they've been winning, which is money. We don't care about the money no more. Think about it. If you know America got money, but they lack rules and regulations. They just blowing up people in the Caribbean, not going through the rules and regulations of how you're supposed to do those type of things, right? That's basically what it is. They lack rules and regulations with handling these killings down in the Caribbean, right? Then we gonna box out the principle of money when it comes to you. Especially when you're throwing these tariffs. You're throwing these tariffs all around the world. You're creating enemies already, economically, financially, monetarily, right? So what we gonna do is box out where it's about money, but now it's about principle. It's about rules and regulations. With rules and regulations, buddy, America ain't gonna make it too much further. You can already tell that. You can already tell that. They ain't gonna make it too much further. If we start basing, that's what we gotta do. When we start basing everything on rules and regulations, they ain't gonna make it. I'm talking about from ground level all the way to the White House. They ain't gonna make it. To these black folks as well, a lack of rules and regulations, they ain't gonna make it, buddy. They ain't gonna make it. White people ain't gonna make it. Because like I've explained before, it's those two races that killed the whole community. They did. It's black and white people. That's the ones that did it. It wasn't Hispanic or Latinos. They just became, their race just started becoming a problem as far as the illegal migrants. But in the beginning, they had work ethic. They still got work ethic, but they just had a good work ethic and mind their business and took care of their families. and everything like that. They stayed out the way. They ain't had nothing to do with no problems and drama and conflicts and everything like that in America. That's why they was able to do what they did for so long, because they wasn't really a problem. Okay, so it's not Hispanic and Latinos. It's not. They not the problem. It's the black and white people. They the problem. That's how it is. It ain't Chinese people. How Chinese people a problem? How are Indian people from India a problem? How is Native Americans a problem? So then, why would I say it's everybody? It's not everybody. It's black and white people. That's who it is. See, when you pinpoint liabilities, you can put the liability where it belongs. It belongs on white people and black people. That's who it belongs on. It don't belong on Chinese people, so they don't deserve to suffer here. Why they deserve to suffer? Black and white people deserve to suffer in America. They do. But do Jamaicans deserve to suffer? No, they don't. They ain't done nothing. They ain't done nothing significantly in America where they was a big major problem. Haitians didn't do anything. Who else? Ethiopians. Ethiopians didn't do nothing in America. Especially them, they ain't do nothing. So then, how I'm gonna punish them? It's better to be more specific and see who's the problem. It's African Americans and white people, white Americans. That's the main problem. Jamaicans, it's not an African thing, it's an African American thing. Africans that are Jamaican and Ethiopians, they not the problem in America. The Haitians are not the problem, it's the African Americans. See, if you don't know any better, they'll Jedi mind trick like they represent all African people. But that only white people gonna think that. Real Africans know. They got friends that's been Jamaican. If you really black, you don't have Jamaican friends. You don't have Ethiopian friend. You don't have a Haitian friend. I done had a Haitian friend, an Ethiopian friend, and a Jamaican friend. Yeah. So you can't. You can go talk to them white folks like you the only color of Africa. You listen, man. You dealing with a real grown man, buddy. Like you stand for what's all African. You playing yourself, sucker. Go with them white folks out there that think you the only brand of, or you the only tribe of African. And some of these Africans don't even respect you, and you know it. They don't respect you and what you stand for. So you can go talk to them white folks and act like somebody's persecuting African because we feel the way we feel about you. But other Africans ain't gonna see it that way. They gonna see it like they are the problem. This tribe of African right here is the problem. And that's how we see it. See, that goes into rules and regulations. You see what I'm saying? Everything is about this. Everything. It's not about money no more. It's not about money. It's about rules and regulations. And it's a chance for a black man like me to rule. Because I'm going to show you professionalism. I'm going to show you high caliber rules and regulations all over the world, all over everywhere. And it's and we can talk money all day, and that's not gonna change the world. That's not gonna change things and make things better. We're not gonna be able to enforce on nobody talking about no money all the time. We're gonna be able to enforce and execute judgment on the proper people with rules and regulations. You talk about money, I mean, how you gonna beat them? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't apply. So when we talk about these Freemasons and gang stalkers and all these people, what we gonna talk about? Money? Money ruling the world? No, we ain't gonna talk about that, because that's what they're trying to do, is manipulate with money. How we gonna beat that manipulation is with rules and regulations, which matters more to real men and women than money. Rules and regulations gonna matter more than money. Like I said, the CEO, that CEO that got killed in New York right here, that was over the healthcare system or whatever, that CEO that got killed this time last year. Look, man, he had money, didn't he? He was kind of chubby too, wasn't he? So he probably ate the best food. I'm just keeping 100. He probably ate the best food, everything. He probably ate good, juicy steaks. He got them fat steaks. He been eating them fat steaks with the potatoes, loaded potatoes and steak. Hey. He was eating loaded potatoes and steaks, wasn't he? He probably eating about 2 steaks and 4 potatoes, loaded potatoes too. He had the money.
What happened to him? He died, didn't he? That part. He had more money than half of y'all being a CEO of a healthcare system. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of money. So, according to the principle of cash rules everything around us, why it didn't work for him? You know why it didn't work for him? You know why it didn't work for him? A lack of rules and regulations. That's why, listen, a lack of rules and regulations will kill you. Oh, man, listen. Go to the streets and go to the prison system and ask about how many people done died from a lack of principles and rules and regulations. They die all the time, not necessarily touching people. You lacked rules and regulations. That's all this is about. What we call life. Your woman gonna leave you because of what? A lack of rules and regulations, a lack of principles. Even the best man, you know what? You get out of pocket for a lack of rules and regulations. What happened to you? You lost your woman, didn't you? That's what was it about? You lacked rules and regulations at that time. Sometimes you can lack rules and regulations at a certain time and lose. That's why you gotta stay on point. You gotta practice rules and regulations 24/7, 365 days of a year, and 52 weeks of a year. Okay? You gotta practice rules and regulations. That's why I let them think I'm crazy, but guess what? I guarantee I'll outlast you. I guarantee I'll be living. Some people will say, well, if he is crazy, I'd rather be him than you. Exactly. So I'm making all the sense in the world, and on top of that, I can see if I wasn't making no sense. I'm making all the sense in the world, right? Some people gonna say, well, how crazy could he be? Well, there's crazy smart people. That's what a white person gonna say, ain't it? Hey, a crazy white person gonna say, well, yeah, they kind of crazy, ain't they? Well, there's crazy white people. Crazy smart people. Would you care? In the case, if you had to be me or them, who would you be? You're gonna be me because you got rules and listen, you got rules and regulations that bury these people. They marrying children. Let's ask these psychiatrists and psychologists. Is America in its right mind marrying children? So they sound the mind. They got good mental hygiene. They got good mental hygiene. They got good mental hygiene. They got good mental hygiene marrying children. Hey, answer the question, yes or no. If you're a psychologist, if you had to call it, right? If you had to call it, would you say that these Americans that make laws to marry children, the latest laws was 6 years ago. If you had to call it, in a country like this where everybody think they protecting children, but you had lawmakers, let's look at the reality of it. You have lawmakers that woke up and ate breakfast with their wife. Yeah, baby, I gotta go down there and make some child marriage laws. We talking about the lawmakers, right? Yeah, what you gotta do today? Well, I gotta, we making child marriage laws down there. Oh, okay. And your wife gonna say, oh, okay. She gonna say, oh, okay, right? Listen, man. Think about it. This dude got to get up, take a shower, eat breakfast. He laugh. He's a normal person. Get on his phone, whatever. This is the lawmaker that helped pass these child marriage laws for people to have sex with American children. Yeah, American children. He got up, ate breakfast, sat around. Know what I mean? Corrupt as he is, he might have got a pill, took a pill, and went to some government facility and passed child marriage laws. Now, for a psychologist, do you think he's in his right mind? Would you esteem him as sound-minded or a person that has good hygiene to pass a child marriage law in a country where everybody act like pit bulls about children. It's not safe for them to do it, is it? With all these people acting like pit bull about children, right? So can you esteem him in his right mind to do that? For his own safety, even concerning his own safety, could you consider him a sound-minded person to do that? So he's sound-minded. He's sound-minded to make laws to marry children. He's in his right mind. You know what most people gonna say? If he's in his right mind, I'd rather be crazy. I'd rather be like the prophet. Well, I mean, look what his sound-mindedness led him to. Oh, he's competent, right? Look what his competency led him to, buddy. That part. I mean, so, in cases where we get up to higher calibers like this, even if I was crazy, you know what? People gonna want to be me rather than be you. And you know that, don't you? Yes. They gonna rather be me than you. You know why? Because in all your competency, or whatever you got, you've been marrying children as a country. You've been making laws to marry children. So then, with all you have or whatever you may be, does it even matter to a person that's competent? A person that's a human being that has a heart wouldn't want to be you, buddy. Oh, guess what? For the gang stalkers and the Freemasons and Illuminati, nobody would want to be you. When you're playing with the man that's talking about America marrying children, would y'all want to be them? Would you want to be that guy or that gal? Would you want to be that gal? You don't want to be her. Why would you want to be her? You wouldn't, would you? So then when we find out that nobody would want to be you and people want to be me, they would rather be me, right? No matter what the accusations are against me, right? They still, listen, we cover, they don't have the details. So they just saying whatever. They just assuming whatever. That's why I challenge them to go find the details of whatever they talking about. That's 7 out. Go get the details. What you heard about me? Okay, go get the details on it. Go get the details. What's the details? You can't produce the details. You're incompetent, buddy. Listen, I can produce details. You know what the details are? You married children in 34 states of America. 385,496 cases of child marriage in the state of New York alone. In New York, when you had child marriage, which are still valid cases that you did make, right? Between 2011 and 2019, these are real numbers. These are real details, right? From 2011 to 2019, the state of New York alone had validated, certified 385,000. That's almost 500,000, by the way, for people that don't know numbers at the drop of a hat. 385,496 cases of child marriage laws of child marriage cases. 385,496 cases. Certified cases, which means once they got rid of it, it's still validated. That don't mean they can go cancel the child marriage cases. They can't cancel it. So it's still valid. They just can't make new child marriage cases in New York. But you still got, at minimum, 385,496 cases. Almost 500,000. You only 115,000 cases from 500,000 cases of child marriage in New York alone, buddy. You was only 115,000 cases away from 500,000 children being married in New York alone. That's facts. That's details. And do I need to go any further to tell you what grown men did to these children? I don't need to spell that out to you, right? That's almost half a million children sexualized, sexed down right here in New York. That's what I'm saying, buddy. And that's how it's done, by a competent man. I bring details you can't deny. You can't deny this. You can't fabricate this and exaggerate this. It ain't no exaggeration. It's self-explanatory. 385,496 cases of child marriage in New York, and you know what the men and the women did with these children, didn't you? Don't you? Don't you? Yeah, you know. Stop playing with me, man. That's what I'm saying, and that's competency. Now, with all that being said, who you rather be, me or them? You rather be a funky Freemason, a funky Eastern Star? A funky Eastern Star. She a funky Eastern Star, ain't she? You a funky Eastern Star, ain't you? Oh, you think I didn't know about you? You a funky Eastern Star, ain't you? Well, who you rather be? Me with this information or a funky Eastern Star? You rather be a funky Eastern Star? A funky Eastern Star. She a funky Eastern Star, ain't she? Hey, all these funky Eastern Stars out there. You a funky Eastern Star, ain't ya? You a funky, you ain't never heard it like that, did you? Hey, I'm probably one of the first people that produced that soundbite. Man, these funky Eastern Stars. You funky Eastern Star, you. You funky Eastern Star, you. You funky Eastern Star, you. Hey, man. Listen, I'm 100, bro. I'm ready for whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's real. We ain't playing no games with no funky Eastern Stars, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now you see. Now you see what you're dealing with. You thought I was one of these little happy-go-lucky little dudes. Little sporty little dudes. No disrespect to Nick Cannon. You thought I was one of these little Nick Cannon type of dudes. You thought I was Nick Cannon then. You know what I mean? You know, no, he a good dude. Don't get me wrong. But you know what I mean? That little happy-go-lucky little thing in him. You know what I'm saying? That little happy-go-lucky. You thought I was a Nick Cannon. You thought I was a little Nick... You thought I was a little Nick Cannon type of dude. And the real reason I'm talking about it is the baby face. Nick Cannon got a baby face forever. I'm like, I got that baby face. Nick Cannon ain't gonna never look old. He ain't gonna never look like no old man. He's just not. And when you look like that, that's really what I'm pointing to. It's okay to be happy-go-lucky. It's okay to be, but sometimes people take that for weakness and corniness. So you know what I mean. And that's no disrespect to him. You thought I was a Nick Cannon type of dude. Little baby face and little sporty, little happy-go-lucky kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? That you thought you could play with. But listen, that's what it is. That's a good way of looking at it, ain't it? Thought I was Nick Cannon around here. You thought I was Nick Cannon, didn't you? With the baby face. That's really what I'm indicating. This baby face where you think, oh, this is a boyish type of dude. You know what I mean? I'm sure Nick Cannon had to check people because of that. Because that baby face is what made people think they can try you, man. I guarantee he got stories. I guarantee he do. Because when you got that baby face, man, listen, the true baby face. More baby face than the singer baby face. Baby face the singer. Did he really have a baby face? The true baby face is you ain't gonna never look old. People can look at you and tell you ain't gonna never look like an old man. You just not. No matter how old you look, that's baby face. You know what I'm saying? When you got that baby face, man, people try to put you to the test. They think it's a game. You know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of black people get smoked out here. They get smoked out here. You know what I'm saying? Because you think you harder than the other side. You might think you blacker than the other side. This is why this never stops.
And you know why? Because there's always a side that think they harder than you until they find out. They mess around and find out, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like people say, they mess around and find out. You know, and you realize, ooh, I don't think we that hard like that. No, you ain't. Cause you dealing with spirituality now, which means whether I live or die, y'all stuck like Chuck, buddy. It don't matter if I live or die. You stuck like Chuck. You ain't gonna make it out of this. The only way you could have is my money. The only way you could have made it is my money. That's it. Whether I live or die ain't gonna stop this, buddy. In fact, some people would say it's gonna get, it'll all get shut down. From me dying, pretty sure you realize that. If you got a brain, listen, I'm pretty sure you realize that, don't you? Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. The only way you could have made this right, as far as I go, is my money, my bag. Other than that, man, listen, bro. Listen, man. You playing yourself, you lying to yourself. I don't hide it, man. I don't deny it. I don't deny it. I'm a slider. You can't play with me. I don't deny it. I can start a riot. You don't want to play with me. I don't deny it. I am a riot. You don't want to play with me. Hey, you like that, don't you? I don't deny it. I am a riot. You don't want to play with me. Yeah, I made that up some time back. I don't deny it. I am a riot. You don't want to play with me. Police all around me, but ain't nothing they can do to me. I don't deny it. I am a riot. You don't want to play with me. Listen, man. But we doing it the right way. See, it's okay to be a riot. We ain't inciting nobody to do it right. I'm gonna say that. That's my disclaimer, right? We ain't telling people to go do a ride, right? You ain't a lame or sucker. You don't just know. Okay. So if you ain't a sucker, might think, oh, he's telling people to do a riot. I said I'm a riot. I'm a riot, buddy. I don't deny it. I am a riot. You don't want to play with me. Listen, buddy, listen. I'm telling you, man, listen, bro. People playing too many games. See, I learned from all of them, Pac and everybody. I learned how to handle these black people. You know how you handle them? Listen. You don't get involved with them. When you start winning, you pull back from them. But you don't lose your principles. You see how I'm away from them, but I still talk principles? That part, that's 7 out. Yeah. Long as you don't lose your principles. Listen, I'm black on my own, man. I'm an African tree in the desert on my own. See, the true test, one of the greatest tests that you'll probably never go through in your life, is to be African on your own. You ain't go through that, did you? I passed the test of being banished, exiled from these African Americans, right? I count about 8 years ago. Oh yeah, I remember everything, buddy. And I survived. Not only did I survive, my blackness survived, now didn't it? Yes, it did. See, you don't let them take away your blackness. If you in spiritual war with these black people, don't let them take away your blackness, because that's what they're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to, in the process of fighting, one of their moves is they're gonna try to take your blackness, because see, that's good for the politics. That's good for the guerrilla warfare, to go out here and influence the people that you ain't even black. You ain't part of black people. Because black people ain't gonna stand for a black man being played with or a black woman being played with. Right? So what they gotta do? They gotta try to make you look like you a sellout.
Like you're Uncle Tom. But then the wise man knows that with all these contradictions out here, it's a fallen world. We can't talk about Uncle Toms are killing each other. Because you know what's worse than an Uncle Tom? Black people killing black people and children. That's what's worse. Listen, who's worse? A pedophile or a person that's killing black children? Whether it's directly or indirectly, I don't care which one. If you wind up, for whatever reason, killing a child, you're worse than a pedophile, buddy. But the culture ain't gonna tell you that. Black culture ain't gonna say, well, these shooters killing children worse than pedophiles. You ain't gonna ever hear nobody from the culture say that. You're gonna hear the prophet say that. They worse. You know what's worse? Black people killing children. You worse than a pedophile. You worse. You worse than them. Okay, so then you come to terms with that? Did you come to terms with it? Come to terms with it? You ain't come to terms with it, have you? No. See, look, let me tell you something, buddy. Y'all are worse than pedophiles killing these children. Okay, many of us have been sexualized as children. Many of us have. Okay, so, but you survived, didn't you? You ain't died, did you? You ain't ball up and die, did you? Okay. But if you get killed as a child, you never lived. You never got a chance to live. You know how bad that is? A black man or a black woman killing children, and they never got a chance to live. A black child now. A black child never got a chance to live because of you. That's worse than a pedophile to me, buddy. Because if you sexualize a child, the person can outgrow what happened and go on and survive. But in this culture, you do not esteem people that kill black children as worse than a pedophile. But in actuality, common sense in reality, if one is sexualized and and God made us to be resilient to overcome that, God made you strong enough to overcome being sexualized as a child. So I don't even buy when somebody just act like they just so broken and torn up and everything, broken and torn up, psychologically broken and torn up. God is the ultimate almighty creator. He made us resilient. Look up the word resilient. He made us resilient, right? But you can't be resilient if you're dead. If a black person kill your children, they can't be resilient, okay? Now, if they get sexualized, unfortunately, they can be resilient and overcome that. Oprah Winfrey was sexualized. Tyler Perry sexualized by his own aunt. Don Lemon, the anchor man, sexualized at 5 years old. Vanessa Williams, sexualized by another girl when she was a kid. Do you see them losing? Do you see them losing financially? You don't, do you? Listen, man, let me tell you something. All these so-called victims out here are just looking for a payday. That's all it is. They looking for or some type of revenge, which is still a payday, right? Many of us have been sexualized, and we practice resilience, especially in the black community. Anybody that's coming out here crying to the community, I don't even trust no black person like that, because that ain't in our nature. That's not in our nature to do that. We gon' tuck that away, and we might tell a few good loved ones that we esteem as our circle, our inner circle. But other than that, we are going to be resilient and go on through life. You might tell your lover, you might tell your companion what happened to you when you was a kid. But other than that, you ain't gonna go out here crying to the community. No black person is gonna do that. That's why you shouldn't have trusted it. But if you were smart, you would have realized our nature as black people able to realize, oh, that's not normal. I don't trust that because that's not normal. Even if something did happen to you, it's not our nature to come out here to the community like that. I mean, you don't even really see white people doing that. But most of us that's been sexualized practice resilience. See, for example, I really did have somebody in my family sexualize me. A grown woman. And some would say that's why you probably so harsh with women. I don't know. But I have been sexualized by a woman when I was a child. A grown woman, not two children. See, my brother didn't go through no woman or no man in the family doing nothing to him. So the truth is, in fact, ironically, I'm the one that went through pedophilia. I had a grown woman in my family touch me in a sexual way, right? Like I said, we don't go run out here to the community when something happened to us, right? So I suppressed that for years and years and years. And then I told my mom after probably 10 years later, went longer than that. It was over a whole decade. My mom didn't even know. My mother did not know. Well, my daddy didn't know either. No parents knew. My grandma, nobody knew. That's how most people carry themselves that actually been through something. It takes decades, for it to come out. Now, even when it does come out, I ain't run to the community. Because a woman in my family sexualized me when I was a child under 18. No, I didn't run to the community. But it happened. You know what I'm saying? And I could have been out here like, well, that's why I don't like women and et cetera, et cetera. And some people would say, that's the reason why you kind of like you are with women. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know, but I know I love healthy women, good women. I know I adore and I admire good women. I despise trifling women. You know what I'm saying? But a good, sweet woman, I can't deny. I love nice, sweet women. They're good creatures. They're better than men when they're right. A woman is better than most men when they're right. They're just smarter. They're more intuitive. They're more caring. They have a heart. A man don't. A man, even on the job, if you work for a man, it's gonna be harder than working for a woman. Not because she's easy, not because she's a pushover. A woman gonna be more understanding, right? So if you gotta call in and stuff like that, a woman gonna be more understanding. She's like, oh, okay, I understand. She probably say she understand. A man, well, I don't know, man. A woman gonna be more understanding. So for me, how you know I'm not sexist? Because I never had a problem with working for a woman. Because a woman is gonna be more understanding. That's the main. Not because she weak or you can manipulate her. Nah, she gonna have more understanding. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? And so even in these situations in America, as far as American women, I'm only gonna look for good women to judge this situation, not even the men at all. Because you don't use good understanding. And I've seen this about you as American men. You don't use good understanding. No, you don't. Most of you don't. A woman gonna come in and use all the good understanding about every situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what she gonna do. That's a real woman. Now these women influenced by men, you gonna think like men. You wanna think like a man. And that's why I don't respect you. Now a woman that stays in her lane and thinks like a woman, they the best human beings in the community. That's the truth. So that's the balance in my perspective when it comes to women, as you can see. So, like I said, man,
it just comes to a certain point, man, where, you know, the foolishness is really aside. If people want to go to war, we'll do that. But let's just stop talking about all this foolishness. Because it ain't making no sense. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, it ain't true. It's you know, you show with this stuff you talk about, you show a lack of principles. You're not my equal. I don't even want to compare myself to you. I'm ashamed that you think me and you against each other. You know, I'm ashamed of that. I'm not, them people are not my caliber. No. I'm talking about information in America, about America marrying children, and nobody knows about it. I mean, that's my caliber. That's my caliber. Your whole family didn't even know about marrying children, did they? Your family knew about it? I guarantee you, your grandmother, your mama, your daddy, none of them knew about this. They didn't. So imagine you trying to come up the stairs and try to come see me when your whole family didn't even know about child marriage laws in America, people marrying children in America. That's 7 out. Yeah, your whole family didn't even know about this. You're not my caliber. You forced my hand to show you and tell you that. Now, did I point it? Well, I probably would have pointed it out if I wasn't challenged. Maybe not. You challenge me, I'm gonna show you that your whole family ain't on my level. Your grandmama, your mama, your daddy, your uncles, all your aunties, none of them. Man, none of them know about this. You forced my hand to show me your whole bloodline ain't on my level, buddy. Can't see me, you out your mind. And that's on factual basis. That's what I'm saying. I ain't just saying it in arrogance. I can show you my logic and how people will say, well, you know, ain't nothing really you can say, because this information is so valuable to the values of families and people's value system. You can't act like it's trivial information. You can't trivialize the information. So when you realize I got this information that people can't trivialize, and you didn't know it, and your family didn't know it, imagine you trying me. Imagine you trying to see who I am. That's all I'm saying, man. I broke it down. That's part of being real too. I mean, I ain't gonna come out here and front and be fronting and everything, and I can't back it up and show you why. I'm showing you why. And people take it for granted. It's a lot of people out here talk a lot of jazz, but they can't show you why they talking all that jazz. I'm showing you why I'm talking all this jazz. All these people out here like slaves don't even know nothing about their own country, talking about they love America. You ain't even know they was marrying children. I'm showing you why I'm talking all my jazz. Now show me why you talking. Show me why you talking. Man, come on, man. That's what I'm trying to say, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. I broke it down, man. That's breaking it down. I'm a soul survivor. I come from the streets. You can't tell me about being black. You can't tell me about struggle. You can't tell me about not folding. I ain't gonna never fold. You can't put no man like me that's been on the streets literally sleeping under bridges. Literally. Where you hearing the cars at all times. No, sleeping under the bridge, you hear the cars at all time and you get used to it and sleep through cars going by at all time. Some people can't even do that. You wouldn't be able to do it. All these cars, you ain't gonna never have complete silence. Never. There's never no complete silence. You get used to sleeping through trucks, cars, everything. Under a bridge. Sleeping under a bridge. If you ain't never done that, man, listen, man. See, that's how God looking at it, man. It's not comparable, man. It's just not, bro. It's not, man. It's not. I'm showing you why. It'd be one thing if I was just putting out these empty, condescending perspectives, but it's based on facts.
That's all I'm saying. So we here on New Year's Eve, going into 2026, man, ready to give another offering. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. I did it yesterday. I put out an offering to Colombia, South America. And I know that's about to do something. But this is what I'm waiting for right here. Put $1 million down in Colombia, man. Colombia, South America. That's why, see, like I said, I learned from Pac and Big, even Big, that you can't, at some point, man, you can't associate yourself with the core group of black people. No, you can't. You gotta start being selective, and you gotta stop embracing the collective. You gotta start being selective. That's how you know a person's not racist, because you still leave the door open to be selective, where you embrace people on an individual basis. But the collective, no. There's too many ratchet, ignorant people out here. So the bigger you get, you gotta stop embracing the collective because of ignorance. You can't be out here in the mix of that, because it's gonna be envy, jealousy. People gonna want you to get caught up in the mix. They're gonna instigate things. You know what I'm saying? So the bigger you get, like right now, I don't even deal with nobody, because see, people gonna support me and defend me because I'm away from them. I don't deal with them. I'm gonna talk about whatever's talking about me. Whoever's talking about me, I'm gonna talk about them. Right or wrong? Okay, so you can't say, well, he talking about us. Well, wouldn't you talk about me first? I'm pretty sure you was. Okay, so you can't even put a time limit on when I'm talking. After you done talked about me, I could talk about you for another 10 years in the context of you talking about me and playing with me. So let's get that understood. Okay? See, I learned at this level, you just separate from everybody. You got to. Because all the devil gonna do is try to get you caught up with a conflict, some petty conflict. Look how many rich black people, Pac, petty conflict, died from a petty conflict. So you gotta watch them petty conflicts, especially with the gang stalkers, because that's what they do. In guerrilla warfare, they go and start arguments and problems to try to get you caught up in these situations. So you don't even get baited into those situations. I'm learning. But at the same time, I defend myself. But getting caught up in these petty arguments and conflicts, nah. That's what they want you to do. White people hoping you get caught up in an ignorant situation in Brooklyn and lose your life. That's what they hope. Pay a peep game. They watching. Freemasons, Illuminati, they just hoping somewhere here in Brooklyn I get caught up in a situation. That's all it is. That's why they put me over here. They put me over here because I initially came to Brooklyn when I came to New York, which I did. It ain't because of the love of Brooklyn. I don't believe that. I believe they put me over here hoping that somewhere along the way, I get caught up in a situation with somebody. So I'm already aware of that. That's why I carry myself like I do. I don't deal with nobody. Because I know you want me to get caught up with somebody and I'm not. That's 7 out. Yeah. See, this is how the strong survive. If you out there, still out there with people and everything, they gonna try to get you caught up with these black folks. They gonna try to get somebody. Or the devil is. Try to get, especially him. He gonna try to get somebody that provokes you. And you just gotta be aware of it, okay? You're aware of it, okay? Now, he can't do nothing. The devil can't do nothing. Because you're aware. He can't get you caught up and lose your life over petty conflicts with no-namers and losers, people that ain't nobody. You don't lose your life to nobodies, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't even acknowledge them fully. I address them, but I don't acknowledge them fully, especially on my level. No, that's a negative.
So you ain't gonna get me to ever acknowledge people that's not my caliber. They can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because with this level of information, I realize the average person I walk by, I'm pretty sure they don't know about this. I'm pretty sure about it. Looking at the whole American community, I'm pretty sure. So with that being said, they're not on my caliber, right? So why am I going, when I know what I'm doing, why am I stoop to a level of being out here in conflict with somebody, or in this building in conflict with somebody? Them people beneath me, man. And that's by way of quality. They're beneath me as far as quality. They're low quality and I'm high quality. There's two type of people in the world. Low quality and high quality. And so once you realize this, you realize how many low quality people it is in America. There's so many low quality people, and you can't have nothing to do with them. No, you can't. You can try, and you're gonna learn the hard way like the rest of us. You try to be cool and down to earth and be real. So you can be real. You can be real by principle and everything. You can keep it 100 by principle. You ain't gotta keep it 100 by trying to hang with people. And see, that's the mistake a lot of people made. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna go down here in the hood and hang out. Eat chicken wings down here in the hood. What happened? You fell out with people, you got robbed, everything. You know what? You know why? Because you felt like you needed to keep it real by going down there in the hood. But use your intuition. That ain't making it. That ain't make you keeping it 100. That don't mean you keeping it 100 by going down there. You keep it 100 by your principles. So you don't gotta prove to go hang out with people or hang with black people to be 100. You 100 by principles. Because either way it go, when you're on your own, people gonna judge you by your principles, whether you went down there in the hood or not. So it's gonna still come back full circle to what I'm talking about. People gonna judge you by your principles. That's what they're gonna judge you by. They're gonna judge you by your rules and regulations, or your understanding about rules and regulations and principles. Without that, you can go eat chicken wings down there in the hardest hoods in America, and you're gonna come out and lose to rule, or the lack of rules and regulations, and ain't nobody gonna esteem you as a real one at all. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna esteem you as that. Now me, I'm gonna get it because I'm gonna get esteemed as a person that's a real one, not because I got money, not because I got fame and power, because I got rules and regulations. Rules and regulations. See, this ain't CB4. You remember CB4 with Chris Rock? Little Jerry Curl rapper, but he was really fake. Listen, man, this ain't CB4, buddy. This is not CB4. This is rules and regulations. And ain't no way a fake person or a fraudulent person can even wield rules and regulations like I've just done in the past almost 3 hours. They can't do it. That's what make them fake. What make you a lame or whatever is because you lack rules and regulations or understanding on it. I don't lack no understanding on no rules and regulations. So that's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. I could have more respect for somebody that never caught a body, but he got rules and regulations. And the person that caught a body don't got no rules and regulations. So you can't just, black people need to hear, you can't just be a violent person and be the realist. You can't be the realist like that. You gotta have rules and regulations. And that's all, I mean, that's the only way you're gonna get as far as I've gotten. Being violent, you ain't gonna get there. In fact, physically, you're not gonna make it because somebody gonna retaliate and kill you, or you're gonna end up in prison. That's all that's gonna get you eventually, okay? But rules and regulations is gonna sidestep them pitfalls, and I'm gonna still be right here. You know what I'm saying? I done been through the streets, so you can't say I'm just talking behind the camera, and I done been out in the streets, under bridges, so you can't see. If you don't have the capacity to see a man for his full story, then you shouldn't even be in the conversation. I can look at you and then I hear what you're saying, and I can take all of that and embody who you are in front of me, right? So when you tell me
You've been on the streets of California. You've been on the streets of Los Angeles. You've been on the streets of Florida, and you utilize that as like a military boot camp. You can say God utilized it as a spiritual military boot camp where I became hardened, strong, mighty. Hardened in the sense of strength through the streets. So that's my second level of credibility. You got two levels of credibility. When you first start out as a young person, all the way up to a certain level of adulthood, and then for whatever reason, your life came into a place where you got more credibility. I'm in my second place and people stupid. Because you looking at you think in terms only of the first level of credibility when you started out from a kid up into a certain point in adulthood, right? And then for most of us, we either we got kids and we kind of got out the streets, or we did something else, we got jobs and we got out the streets. But then that become one stretch that you talk about for X amount of time. And some people usually only talk about that one stretch, so they're not able to understand, for whatever reason, you get another timeline of credibility. And if you're not paying attention, you don't know you're getting it. You only think about the first time you got credibility as a human being, when you first started out as a kid, and then on up to adulthood or close to it. Right? And then you get a second timeline of credibility, or even a third sometimes. You know, but people only think about the first time. I'm thinking about now. I'm thinking about now. See what I'm saying? And they keep going back to the first timeline where you got respect and all that was there, and I don't care about it, because most of the times it was when you was young. Obviously, it was when you was young anyway. And I'm gonna give more respect when you actually start getting respect the second time around as a grown man. But see, that's where it get tricky, man, because some people be out here grown men trying to get respect, and it's an art to that, you know, because what a lame gonna do as a grown man, come out here doing crimes and everything, just trying to get respect and credibility. But that's the only reason you're really doing it. It ain't you ain't really doing it to survive. See, I went to the streets to survive my way, to live my way. You know what I'm saying? I chose to do things my way. Like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way. Because some people say, well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go to the streets. You know, you chose to do that. That's exactly right. I did it my way. I did it my way. I did it my way. And you know what? In life, even if you fail, right back to the lyrics of that song, even if you fail, when you do things your way, and you get to the end of your life, or to the mature level of your life, when you look back at your results, you are going to be more happy doing things, having done things your way. If you do things everybody else's way, and you fail, you're going to blame them to a certain degree. Because you're going to think, well, I should have did it another way. I shouldn't have did it their way. And if you ever, this is the bad part about doing things other people's way. When it don't work out, you're going to blame them and think you should have did something else. I did it my way. You gotta do it your way, buddy. See, you thought I wasn't cultured then. You thought I was a little lame. I told you, man. Told you. You don't know how much I know, buddy. You don't know me. I'm trying to tell you that. I done seen the list of Frank Sinatra and all that, man. I did it my way. And when you do things your way, guess what? Guess what? When you do things your way, you're going to be happier. Even if you failed, it's a satisfaction from doing it your way that you're getting while you're doing it. And in a tricky way, you're gonna accept even failure. If you did it your way, you're gonna accept it. If you truly did it your way, you're gonna accept failure. And there's always gonna be failure. So put it together. Failure is always gonna be in life. If I do it my way, I'm gonna accept my failure. If I do it somebody else's way, I'm gonna blame them. I'm gonna say in the back of my mind, you might not say it, but you in the back of your mind, man, if I just wouldn't, maybe I shouldn't have listened to them. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's why I failed. But if you do it your way, you're gonna think. In a tricky way, you're gonna accept what come with it. You're gonna accept it. Cause you're gonna realize the pleasure that you got from doing everything the way you wanna do it. That's what's gonna make you accept the failure. The pleasure of doing everything the way you wanna do it. So you know what I'm saying, man, you know, some people ain't got no philosophy in life, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they should be even playing around a man like me. It's arrogance of the Americans, man. It really is. We talking about real life. We talking about what it consists of. And people around here that act like they don't understand real life, we can't have nothing to do with that, man. We really can't. It's all about principles. You thought I was a clown. That I'm not, buddy. I'm on your head. You can't play me like I'm a cartoon, like I'm some little Mickey Mouse little character or something. That's you once again being corny, man. Listen, man, come on, man, listen. Man, listen, bro. I done been around real killers. You understand me? I'm talking about people that put people in the graveyard, buddy. Ain't no, listen, only a corny person is gonna think I'm somebody to play with. Or you look at me because I look cute. Like a lion. A lion looks cute. A cheetah looks cute. A leopard looks cute. But you ain't gonna play with it. And so it's only the goofy people in life that think, oh, he looks cute. I can play with him. That's real. But you didn't look at it like a lion. A lion looks cute too, buddy. And you mess around and find out. Well, he's not only cute, he's ferocious. He's cute and ferocious. God's greatest creations is mighty and beautiful. But see, you can't see your problem. I'll tell you what your problem is. As far as violence and street people, you only think ugly dudes is the ones that's violent. These ugly people. If they ugly, you think that's hardcore. Hardcore ugly. They hardcore ugly. Looking at people, oh, that person's cute. He's somebody to play with. The lion look cute. Look at the lion. His ears on top of his head. He even got cute ears. Yeah, but he'll bite your head off, buddy. He'll bite your ears off. He got cute ears. Yeah. And he'll bite yours off. Your ears will be off in his mouth. Your ears will be off in his mouth, buddy. I'm serious. Think about these people that play around these animals, man. The first thing they're gonna be thinking about, I'm talking about real life, they're gonna be thinking, oh, they cute. Yeah, but that's not the only element, buddy. You look at people and think they're cute. And like that's the only element of the person, bro. Just like a person that play around these lions and find out. Okay, it was cute, but you're dead. You're dead, little buddy. All ran around grown lions. Yeah, It ain't nothing else to talk about, man. I already made my alliance. I'm with Russia, I'm with China, I'm with North Korea, Iran, and Lebanon. Those are my 5 alliances for World War III. I already got my alliances for World War III. Russia, Iran, North Korea, China, and Lebanon. I chose your worst enemies. I chose your worst enemies. That's a principle. You make enemies with me, I go join your enemies. I go join your enemies. I be friend to your enemies. What you thought I was gonna do? I was gonna, a man on my level of competency, I was gonna sit here and play back and forth with the Americans. Man, come on. You esteem me as more competent than that, right? So what you think I did? I went and joined with the Russians. Russians know my face, my likeness. I use what you call social media to communicate with Russians while you stupid. Oh, that's Facebook. Yeah, but for me it's networking. For me it's communication with the Russians because I'm a grown man. Well, that's just Facebook. Oh, it's just Facebook? Ask the FBI, is it just Facebook? Ask the police and the authorities, is it just Facebook, buddy? See, you a clown. That's what I'm talking about. I used Facebook to network with the everyday Russian people. That's the first thing you got to do. You can't go to the leaders. Think about it. You got to first get to know the culture. You got to be taken seriously. You got to get to know the people, get to know the culture, get to know the everyday Russians, and that's what I've done. That's what I've started to do. I listen to the national anthem, the Russian national anthem, all the time. Every year I listen to it. It's in my soul, you know what I'm saying? And one of the main reasons I joined the Russians is because when all this stuff happened, all these clowns out here, I took hope in just the national anthem. It gave me hope for another country outside of all of this that was going on. And it was just that, it was that right there, this psychological hope that just pushed me over to networking with the Russians. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like that. It could be these little things and that make you give alliance. You know, so besides just joining the enemy or your enemies are my friends, it was that too. They gave me hope when all of this first started. Just the national anthem. So also see, people don't take people seriously, man. That's why I live in real life. I trip off clowns because I'm gonna tell you, something gonna get you. Just like that Tony song. Something gonna get you, little Walter. Hey, little Walter. Hey, little Walter. Hey, little Walter. Something's gonna get you, little Walter. Something gonna get you, little Walter. Something gonna get you. That's all. You'll see. That go for these women. You little Walter too, ain't you? These women little Walter, ain't you? Hey, these ratchet black women playing with me. You little Walter, ain't you? You little Walter. You little Walter, ain't you? You little Walter, ain't you? You little Walter. Something gonna get you, little Walter. That's how it is in the real world we live in, little buddy. Something gonna get ya. Your ancestors would tell you. The ancestors on my side. Oh, they on your side? About what? You can't even get the ancestors to be on your side. What you talk? How? How they gonna be on your side? You playing with me? Something's gonna get you, little Walter.
Something gonna get you. That's all. That's why all we gotta do. All we gotta do is play the waiting game. That's all we gotta do in this situation. The beautiful thing in this situation is they've done so much trying to show out. You know what I'm saying? They trying to grandstand, like we say in the South, trying to grandstand and everything. You done so much trying to grandstand. All we gotta do is just wait for your karma. That's all we gotta do. Cause it's coming. It's gonna get you. Something gonna get you. That's why all we gotta do is sit back and wait. That's why during this time, you just take what come with it. Just keep your head down. You know what I'm saying? Cause ain't no way in the world they gonna be doing this against us. And we fasting and we seeking God. We giving offerings. You know? And they over there creating bad karma. And nothing ain't gonna happen to them while we fasting and giving offerings. When they attack you, this is for understanding on spiritual warfare. When they attack you and you fasting, you know how bad that is, how quick that's gonna come back. It's gonna come back so bad. You can't attack somebody while they fasting. Ooh-wee, buddy. Something's gonna get you, little Walter. You can't attack a person. See, that's rules and regulations. See, here's the punchline. The Bible, see where I'm going with this, right? This is above this. The Bible's up here, this is down there. Okay? This is rules and regulations. This Bible. And if you don't know these rules and regulations, you up the creek without a paddle, buddy. Like we say in the South, you up the creek without a paddle. Uniquely in this situation, with the guerrilla warfare that the Americans done, truthfully, all we gotta do is sit back and let the karma come in. Foundationally, see, if you understand this, you realize we got them already. Because they gotta reap what they sow. That's the Bible. The Bible says, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. Whatever you sow, that shall you reap. That's why you gotta make sure you don't get in no petty conflicts in situations. You gotta make sure, because the karma's coming, but they gonna try to bait you when they know that karma coming. These devils gonna try to bait you because they know they ain't got a lot of time. They know they ain't got a lot of time. And that's also demons. That's also the satanic kingdom. They already know karma coming. Okay, so once karma is set up to come, then they're gonna go faster and try to bait you into situations. And you gotta be aware of it. Every time, this is the chess move that everybody overlooks, is when they've done so much, it's already over. But they gonna speed up and do all kind of stuff against you, hoping that they pull you down with them, hoping that you take the bait of a conflict or whatever conflict. And you gotta just esteem these people as nothing. That why would I have a conflict with you? Why would I even care about what you think about me? You know what I'm saying? After all you've done, why would I even care? So you gotta watch the chess move of the satanic kingdom when you can't get lax. It's no time to get lax. You always gotta keep your eyes and ears open. In this season right now, all you gotta do is put your head down and get the work done. That's all you gotta do. Put your head down, get the work done, and
what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is they gonna get what they deserve. They gonna reap what they sow. Ain't nobody can keep it from them. The police can't do nothing about it. Whoever else support these people can't do nothing about it. All you gotta do is just keep your head down. That's all you gotta do. And most grown men and grown women gonna do that anyway, for the most part. But you can't. But you gotta be aware of the surprise attack where people try to instigate conflicts and stuff like that. Be aware of that. Watch that, right? And keep your head down. Don't even allow yourself to be baited into it. No matter what they say about you, it's all because they gotta rush and try to start a conflict. They gotta try to start something because their time is short, based on karma, and everybody believes in it, don't they? Yes. These so-called spiritual people, I bet they believe in karma, don't they? Well, then you know you're gonna get yours, don't you? Yeah, you're gonna get yours. And ain't nobody can manipulate that. So you see how good it's set up? Beautiful. It's a beautiful situation. That's why, I mean, it'd be different if they were pretty decent people, but they were your enemies. They've done all this stuff. Look at this stuff. Listen, it's perfect. It's a perfect, all you gotta do is keep your head down. And this stuff is coming in, buddy, full blast. It's nothing they can do about it. Because it's their karma. All you gotta do is avoid conflicts with these people. Don't take them seriously. Don't let them bait you into these situations. And I'm not perfect myself, as you can see. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get baited into a situation with some petty people that I esteem beneath me by quality. People that's beneath me by quality, they're not gonna be able to pull me into no petty situation. And that's how you gotta be. Don't let these people pull you into no petty situation. Let them say whatever they want to say. Let them act how they want to act. Like you gotta be almost willing to let people do whatever to you. Almost kick you, hurt you, punch you. You gotta almost let them do almost anything. Knowing that you could, knowing you a killer, a soldier, knowing you will kill them people in any other circumstance, but you need to get through this to get the job done. This is how disciplined you gotta be. You gotta be almost willing to take punches, spitting on you. Cause the more time goes by, they gonna get angrier and angrier. No, are you ready for that? No, listen. I'm gonna slow down right here. They gonna get angrier and angrier with every given day because of all that has happened, the karma, that too, and what they see happening out there. They're gonna get angrier and angrier, and you gotta be willing to take all the outlashing words, behavior, and everything in public, everywhere. They're gonna start lashing out like crazy. If you're a high target in this guerrilla warfare, in this gang stalking, once they see how much they losing, it dawns on them, right? They gonna hate you. Even though they caused it, they gonna hate you, right? They gonna hate. That's what we going through now. Especially me. That's what I'm going through. They hate me because they losing. They hate me because it's over. But they caused it. But they'll try to lash out. And you can't be, even though you sound minded, right? You're not a crazy person that just argue with everybody, right? Because like Billy Joel say, you should never argue with a crazy man. You should know by now. You don't argue with a crazy man. You know people crazy, don't argue with them, man. That's half of these people. You should never argue with a crazy man. You should know by now. You should know by now. You should never argue with a crazy man. You should know.
Yeah, I used to listen to that. I used to listen to that Billy Joel too. You know what I'm saying? So it applies to this situation. You don't argue with these crazy people, man. Listen to Billy Joel, man. You should never argue with a crazy man. They mad. You know what I'm saying? Because they losing. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta sidestep it. That was the word of the year, sidestep. We sidestepping that. And moving forward, we sidestepping. You gotta sidestep all the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? That was the word of the year. I'm glad I thought about it too, because that was the prophetic word of the year. You know, we sidestep all the foolishness. No matter what people talking about, because see, put yourself in their position. They frustrated, they angry, they like a dog left out in the rain. Mad, they mad. They're a cold dog, wet, all out in the rain. That's what kind of people they are right now. And you sitting pretty, you know, as far as your numbers, okay? So just based on that, they're gonna be frustrated. You sitting pretty, they like out in the rain, you know, cold and out in the rain. As far as winning, as far as their position. So you don't let them bait you into an argument or conflicts or you don't allow them to bait you into a situation. You take almost anything that comes with it. No matter what they say about you, no matter what they talk about, because like I said, the more time goes by, they're gonna be lashing out. They're gonna be lashing out because they sore losers. They see you lose, they see you winning and everything. They see you winning. How they gonna be? How they gonna be? I'm tell you how they gonna be. They gonna be lashing out. Saying something to you in public. I hate you. You don't even know this person. Think about it. This is the last days. It's gonna get so bad as far as this real war that's going on, because it's about to turn up, right? When it does, people gonna be lashing out. I hate you. Saying it while you walking down the street. What you gonna do? Challenge everything you hear? You can't. You can't do it. You gotta pray God empower you, anoint you to just go through mobs and groups of people where they saying all kind of stuff. That's what you gotta prepare for. And you ain't even responded to it. You ain't even saying nothing to it. You already know it comes with the territory. You win and they mad. They know they did. It's over. Okay, they gonna lash out. They gonna say all kind of stuff. That's the truth. They gonna be mad, they gonna lash out and everything like that. You gotta prepare for that. The more time goes by, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, God is just destroying your enemies too. Keep that in mind. So it ain't gonna be like they gonna have this whole full way to do it. You know, they're gonna be getting defeated at the same time. They're gonna be getting defeated at the same time, but you know, for those demons that slip through the cracks, like I like to say, you know, keep your wits about you, keep your heads on the swivel, you know what I'm saying? And just be aware of your surroundings, you know what I'm saying? That too. And be willing to take everything to stay in your position so that you don't lose your freedom. Because I'm telling you one thing, you can catch a body, but you're going to jail. You can show people you all about that life, but you're going to be in jail. And while you pride yourself on it, you lost your freedom. And it'll feel good for a while. You know what I'm saying? You took care of your business and this person's gone. You know, it might feel good to you for a while, but it's going to sink in once you lost your freedom. I give it about 3 years. I give it after the first 3 years, it's going to sink in. You ain't going nowhere. You're stuck here. You know what I mean? And so, you know, see, like I said, I've been through the system. I had probation officers, all of that. I've been through all of that. To me, it's two types of people. People that's been went to prison, and it's people that's been through the system. It ain't just a dude that's been through prison. It's the dude that's been through the system that understands the system. You know what I'm saying? The person been on probation. You got a charge. You know, and you had to do community service. I had to do all of that, and I had to have a PO. I had a PO. Had to go see him. And in North Carolina, you gotta give him money. And I done had a warrant out for my arrest, all that kind of stuff, man. You know, and so I mean, I'm one of them dudes that got pulled. We got pulled over by the police, and I had a warrant out for my arrest. I'm one of them dudes. I wouldn't have never thought. I was like, I was with a female. She was driving the car. You know, I'm on the passenger side. You know what I'm saying? So the police saw me with this white woman. You know what I'm saying? She a white female in the car. He was already hating anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the passenger seat. You know what I'm saying? He already thinking the worst stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? But me and her did have relations back in the day. You know what I'm saying? She was my first. I lost my virginity to a white woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's my story. I lost my virginity to a white woman. That's why you know I ain't against no white people. I lost my virginity to a white woman. So this same woman was taking me somewhere, you know, but this was years after we were together. She still remained a good friend. So she got pulled over for running a stop sign in the middle of the night. And it was like a blessing in disguise because I had a warrant out for my arrest. And I didn't even know it. I had no earthly idea, you know, and this was after my charge and me going back to do everything I needed to do to comply in my PO situation. I complied with everything. I did community service, everything. It might have been, I don't know what it was, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. That's the funny situation about it. I don't know how I even violated, but however I violated, I had a warrant out for my arrest, and I didn't even know. So the police pulled her over for a traffic violation, asked me my name out of hate, because he didn't even really need to know who I was. She ran a stop sign. What that got to do with me? For real. I mean, why you checking the whole card? She ran the stop sign. What does that have to do with the integrity, my integrity? I'm just being 100. But anyway, he got my ID. I just happened to have it on me, you know. And he ran my name, and he asked me my name when he came back, I think to throw me off. Because he didn't want me to try to run or whatever. It probably was that more than anything else. He didn't want me to try to run, and he didn't want to alarm me. So he kind of threw me off, and now I'm smart enough to realize it. He threw me off by saying, what did you say your name was? I said, Donnell Marcello Kearns. He said, no, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. He said, what you say? Your name is Don. You didn't say that. Your name is Donnell Marcello Kearns. He said something like, oh, you didn't say that was your name or something like that. I said, I know my own name, so why I'm distracted by thinking about what he's saying to me about my name or whatever, he made sure I was distracted with that, and he was like, well, get out the car, sir. I'm like, what'd I do? He set it up real good. He was like, what? Get out the car. So he came over. I refused to get out the car, so he came around to the passenger side and forcefully opened up the door and threw me down on the ground. I'm one of them dudes. I've been done like that by the police, scarred up my face and everything, and threw my face down into the sidewalk, to the concrete sidewalk and everything, and I'm one of them dudes, man. My face was scarred and everything. So come to find out, I had a warrant. So this is how dirty the police is in the South. So he took me to like this parking lot. Mind you, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's the year 2000, at the top of the year 2000. So I feel like it's this martial law field, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting arrested, you know, it's the year 2000. We don't know nothing about what's about to happen in the country. So it's like, to me, it's like this
martial law kind of feel to the situation. And so he took me into a parking lot and started asking me random questions about my life, which is unprofessional. He was like, "Are you in school or what are you doing?" And he asked me all these questions that a cop, I'm on the beat, shouldn't be asking me. He shouldn't. But I was too young to know any better. I was only 18 when that happened. I had a warrant out for my arrest and I was 18, and I ain't even, I know how to carry myself with these police now. I mean, I wouldn't have tolerated that. Because I'm on legalities and technicalities, rules and regulations. I practice that with the police too. Yes, sir. Yeah. You pulling me into a parking lot, asking me random questions about my life. I'm gonna say, well, I don't know why you asking me these questions, because it's irrelevant to this situation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you trying like you care? I don't. But he felt bad. That's why he felt bad about it. He felt bad about it, so that's how he was trying to. I figured that out too with time. He felt bad about it, and so he was just trying to like realize how young I was. He was acknowledging how young I was, being 18. So he was trying to save face in the situation for how he handled it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man. So it's two types of dudes that go through the system. See, that's going through the system. Where you basically understand, and this is the reason why. It's two types of dudes that understand the system. One that gets a charge and get these warrants and got these community service and PO. He understands the power of one charge on your life. He understands the power that obviously a dude in prison understands. So if you go through the system or you go to prison, you're going to understand the power of a bad mistake more so than somebody that ain't been through the system. Once you go through the system, you're going to understand the power of a bad mistake, how easy it is to get one charge on your life, and this charge follows you forever. You got to go back to court about it. You got a PO about it more than one time. I had a PO more than one time. So, and this charge was a felony. This wasn't no petty crime. See, these cops and these lames out here are used to these corny people. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I started doing felony natured crimes when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? This was basically a felony, but it was reduced down to a misdemeanor because I was so young. You know what I'm saying? I was only 16. And they didn't want to put a felony on my record, so that and I'm only a kid. That just destroys your life if you don't know no better. You can't do nothing. You can't get firearms. You can't get licensed guns. You can't vote. It's a lot of rights to take from you. So this North Carolina judge was very understanding to reduce my charge down to a misdemeanor because I was only 16. So, for those who think I'm petty, I always did felonies. Let's make that very clear. Most of the stuff I've ever done as crimes, most of my crimes was felonies. Felony natured crimes. Breaking in houses, and I broke in a house, stole guns and all of that, possession of guns, stolen guns. I had nothing but felonies. The felony natured crimes I done. So for anybody label me petty, they can't know me. That's even family. No, you can't, because you're slow or stupid. Because most of every crime I did was felony in nature. So how I'm petty? How But anyway, man, my whole point was this: you realize how easy it is to get a charge on your record and how hard it is to get it off. You realize that, right? So a person like me, or a person that's been through the system, just like me, or somebody been in prison, they ain't gonna risk their freedom as quick as a lame. A lame gonna do all kind of stuff, risking their freedom. Somebody like me, ain't gonna do no crime. That's why I know most of these real ones out here, you ain't finna do nothing. You know why? Cause you ain't gonna risk your freedom. Cause you done been through the system, like me. You ain't know. You gonna think a little more before you do something. And that's my point, man. You don't want to let these people provoke you to where you lose your freedom. You done been through the system. You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? See, they got me made up like some Mickey Mouse person. This is the real person who I really am. You know what I'm saying? Whether they like it or not, I don't care what you feel about it. See, one thing about being a bad kid is you get used to the thought of rejection and people not liking you. A bad kid don't care about that. You don't care about being liked as a bad kid. If you was a bad kid, you cared about what the world, how they felt about you. No, you stopped caring because you got used to people seeing you as a bad person. You got used to it, right? So the worst kind of game you could play is trying to demonize me for whatever matter. I'll just play the villain, you know what I'm saying? I won't care. Just like a bad kid, learn to be a little villain, After a while, you stop caring about how people feel about you and what they talk about. Who cares? That's all I'm saying. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's what people don't realize about me. I could play this position with pleasure, especially with these cops. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they dirty. I know they ain't nothing. I know stuff about the cops that you really are not conscious of. These cops ain't nothing. I don't care nothing about them. And then being that I was on the other side of the law anyway, and I see what they doing to me presently, I can't stand them people. I can't stand police. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care how you dress them up. I don't care what kind of good cops you try to bring around me. This confirms why I hate these people. I hate the police. I hate them. And I'll tell them to their face. I'm the type of dude, you arrest me, I'm talking all kind of stuff to the police. And then they still give me respect. Because I'm 100, that's why. You understand why. We hate you. That's why. I had a cop pull a taser on me, right? And I had a weapon on me that day. I was here in New York. So he didn't hit me with the taser, but he kept it on me. He was aiming it at me. And till he got the weapon off of me. Once he got the weapon off of me, man, I was telling them I hate them and everything because I feel like they was in my footsteps. That's what it was. That's all it was. That's why I responded like that. He kept searching me. I'm asking them, are y'all gay? You keep searching me. You done searched me over more than one time. That's the edited version. I didn't say, I use more colorful language, but as far as calling them gay, but at the end of the day, he sat in the car with me once we got to the precinct and say, you're not a crazy person. This is the cop saying this. You're not a crazy person, this, that, and the third. Did I disrespect you or whatever like that? This dude is talking to me like this. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see the caliber. You can see who I really am. You know what I'm saying? It's just these dirty cops out here that caused all of this for the community. That's why we hate them. That's why we hate them. And it confirms why we hate them. They ain't justified because like how I see it, even if a person was a pedophile, it ain't gonna be worth tearing the whole country up. Only a white boy gonna think like that. No disrespect to good white people. Only a white boy is gonna think to run around the whole country. You know what I'm saying? Playing around somebody. Only a white boy gonna think like that. And you can talk about how black people started this, and I'ma still point out you are the main reason this has went this far as white people. White people the main ones that took it this far. And all you're gonna do is point out that black people started it. Okay, but you took it to the next level. So you gotta take your part of it too. You can't just say Black people started, then that's it. You gotta take your part. Your part is you took it to the next level. Hunting like white people like to hunt. They like to hunt people. They like to hunt. And this is no exception. They love to hunt. That's all this is. They love to do it. They love to do it, man. So, with that being said, man, I don't take them seriously. Police, I don't take you seriously at all in America. I don't. You got all kind of philosophies and worldviews on your own as a police institution that a lot of people don't know about, and I'm aware of it, But ultimately, man, just like we said about the Freemasons and the Illuminati, police ain't nothing without America. What's a policeman without America? Nothing. So unfortunately, we have to shut down the whole country. God is doing it, to shut down these people. Listen, it went so far, this is what God decided to do. If you think it's me, right? Listen, you can't know God. God ain't gonna let this go on all around the country, all around the world. No. That's that, bro. That's that. It's not no manipulation. You just don't know God. And God is not gonna let it happen. You've done something, whether you realize it or not, that nobody really has done in the world, especially in our modern day and time. All this gang stalking, the Americans did something that no other community has done in the present day time. You don't think nothing gonna happen to you for doing it? Something gonna get you, little Walter. Something gonna get you, little Walter. Police is little Walter too, ain't it? Tremaine, my brother, he little Walter, ain't it? Something gonna get little Walter, buddy. You ain't gotta worry about it. That's why I say, man, we're proactive, fasting and giving offerings, but it's in the bag, man. Really, we just the offering and the fasting is also strengthening us to get through it. But their karma is set, man. It's set. Now, I do believe the offering also, and the fasting also can bring more detriment to these people. But their karma is set. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. It's set, bro. Okay, and that's that. You don't gotta sit up. Your foundation got to be, with all they done, they gotta suffer for it. They got to. They gotta suffer for it. They gotta suffer for what all they done. They gotta suffer for what all they done, man, and that's it. It's not. That's why I like the situation I'm in, as far as my position, because it's simple. It's not hard to figure out. It's not even that you gotta go through a whole bunch of information and sift through a whole bunch of information. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't gotta sift through a whole bunch of information. They play games. They suffer for it. I love it. It's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. You ain't gotta sit through no. You ain't gotta sit and try to figure it all out, and it's so hard to figure out. No, it's not. It's not hard to figure out, buddy. They just being entertained. And we're gonna shut that down too, because my personal view is, being a black man, is that white people love being entertained by black people. They always have. They like, and it's almost a racist insinuation. They like being entertained by us. And this is no difference. They love us tap dancing for white people. Go on out there, boy, tap dance. Show us what you can do. And entertainers realize this. You realize, to white people, you're just a tap dancer. You're just entertaining them, and they act like that. They don't act like they got the utmost respect for you. They act like you just some little monkey boy dancing around. Okay, so it's the same thing here. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit back and act like I'm their entertainment. Black people too. See, like I've explained, African Americans have finally caught up to the filthiness and nastiness of white people, and that's what we're not addressing. Black people, what you call African Americans, have finally caught up to being just as pathetic and filthy as white people. As far as principles and what they do, how they killing black people, using their power against us with the Freemasons and Illuminati, they become just like white people. So like being pro-black is dated, bro. It's dated because of the community of black people we got right here. It's not better to say it's irrelevant. It's not relevant, man. You talk about all this pro-black stuff, incorporate that into all these ratchet black people killing each other. And that's the main thing that represents how black people move. So you can have good black people out here, but they're not dictating how black people mobilize themselves as a community. What's dictating it is all this killing and everything going on, all the culture. That's especially the culture. So then with that being said, a pro-black attitude is irrelevant. It's dated. It's not up to date. It's out of style. It's out of date. So the way to be pro-black really is just by, like I say, preserving black thought, black perspective, and black lives yourself personally. That's what make you black. You preserve black thoughts, black worldviews, black perspective, and black lives. If you contradict those things, that's the less black you are, the more you do those things that make you contradict yourself. So that's how we figure out who's blacker than others. Okay, if you don't preserve black lives, black thoughts, black perspective, and black worldviews, how you get the luxury of being this all black person when you contradict what makes you black or what should make you black, which is black thoughts, black perspective, black worldviews, and black matters and black lives, right? If you don't preserve black lives, how are you black? How are you the blackest among us? It's that simple. Because see, your lack of worldviews and perspective is what led you to do it anyway. So it was other areas that you wasn't that black in that led you to kill black people. That's what I'm saying. That's why being pro-black is basically individuality now instead of collective. You carry it so that you dictate your path and how you're treated in your situation. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm projecting my blackness to dictate my situation. But as far as collective, what you gonna join to, that's collective. Not individuals here and there, not a sect of people. Collective. A group of people is not collective black people. That's still not collective. You will find joining a group, y'all still ain't mobilizing black people. You're still not doing nothing. So I mean, to me, that's a lost cause. That's nothing. You ain't doing nothing. That's the bottom line, man. When you look at Malcolm X and MLK, they did stuff. They mobilized the collective black community. Nobody's mobilizing the black community no more. So then what is it doing? What is it to be pro-black when it's not mobilizing anybody? It's not mobilizing the collective. So then you have to hold it into your individuality state. You have to be an individual and realize, nah, I can't. It's a lost cause, you know what I'm saying? It's a lost cause because I'm not gonna be a fool for nobody. I'm not gonna be a fool for nobody. If people act like they got problems and playing around you and then your own people, or they black people, and you're not getting your respect, then why play a game and act like you're playing a position that they not playing? Nah. No. You don't do that. So they can say whatever they want to say, but at the end of the day, I'm right. They want you to play a position that they not playing. That's it. But they want you to play it. That's kind of retarded. They want you to play a position that they not playing. Nah. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You're not gonna play a position that they not playing and they still playing in your face. Think about that. In these days, they gonna put you through all these tests. They gonna put you through all this stuff, right? And they'll treat a Malcolm X like you gotta be put through the streets and the principles of the streets. That person was never supposed to be put through those situations. Nope. You was never supposed to be put through those situations. But because that's all this community is about, like I said, the culture, they putting you through street tests and you like a Malcolm X type of person. It's disrespectful. You already got the goods. If you're really on that caliber, you already got the goods. You don't need to be tested. So I don't care what they say. Who cares? Whatever they saying, their whole community is like that. The most of it is. So who cares what they talking about? That's how you gotta look at it. You no longer care what they talking about.